இமேஜினேஷன் அவங்கக்கிட்ட கம்மியாக இருக்கும்.
As it will.
Soul.
जो जोंटी गेमिंग की अभिवादन जो लास्ट लाइट अब थी
बड़े भैया हमको फ्री फायर खेलना है, बड़े भैया हमको फ्री फायर खेलना है। बड़े भैया इसको हीलिंग बैटल में हरा दो। बड़े भैया हमको फ्री फायर खेलना है। छोड़ भाई हील बैटल कर लेते पर मेड किट नहीं है पास। छोड़ भाई फ्री फायर खेल लेते पर फोन में नहीं है नेट। छोड़ भाई फ्री फायर खेल लेते पर नहीं चल रहा दिमाग। मुझको फ्री फायर खेलना है, फ्री फायर खेलना। बड़े भाई फ्री फायर खेलते खेलते नेट उड़ गया। वो 2G के नेट पे पूरा मेरा दिन कटा। वो फ्री फायर फोन कवर वाला फोन भी खो गया, हो गया। बड़े भाई फ्री फायर खेलना है, बड़े भाई हीलिंग बैटल में हरा दो। बड़े भाई फ्री फायर खेलना है। बड़े भाई जो भी इस रील को देख रहे हैं प्लीज लाइक कर देना कि ये वाईफाई चोरी करे लो अभी पहला। वो जो चुपके से बैठे मेरे गेम पर और शूट वो जैसे तैसे हीलिंग बैट में सर्कल ले रहा। मेरी स्किन देख बेबी मेरी फ्री फायर मैक्स की तू किल देख मेरी, या फिर देखो मेरी केडी। और वक्त नहीं देना इन्हें करूँ पुश रैंक मेरे पास में तो वहाँ मैं तो आके ना फेंक। बेबी बैठे बैठे गिनता मैं नोट पे बॉक्स इन लड़कों को रखता मैं भैया के स्कोप पे। D&D भी ऑन है फोन पे पाउडर है उंगली ना हट जाए लॉबी में खौफ में ना देता रैम रैम को ना फोन चाहे फट जाए फोन भी बदल देंगे। फ्री फायर लव बॉयज दो का है सर्कल में और मेरा बड़ा भाई कौन जीता कौन हारा देख लेगा मेरे भाई। फ्री फायर खेलना है, फ्री फायर खेलना मुझे भाई हीलिंग बैटल में हरा दो, हीलिंग बैटल में। बड़े भाई फ्री फायर खेलना है, फ्री फायर खेलना। भाई जो भी इस रील को देख रहे हैं प्लीज लाइक कर देना कि ये फोन लेना है। I'm a people was a beware.
Bottom of peak, but I was a peak. ले पहन की आन में अगर की मौत मरे तुझे ऑफ करे मेरी AK-47 गोल्ड है बहुत बैटरी में ईगल के सर्कल के बीच में अकेले में घूमूंगा कोई न खौफ दिखे तुझे ऑफ करे मेरी AK-47 गोल्ड रेको है करे कहता रह जाएगा भैया किसको पे पच के ही मानेगा लड़कों में स्किन लगा के करीना की किसको पटाएगा वो भी बता के जा है करे लॉबी में है करे बचकाने छोड़ दे कुट का तेरा घर पे लगे ना चोट तुझे तभी ऑफ करे लगा माइक पे
बड़े भाई फ्री फायर खेलना है बड़े भाई हीलिंग बैटल में हरा दो बड़े भाई फ्री फायर खेलना है छोड़े भाई जो भी इस रील को देख रहे हैं प्लीज लाइक कर देना कि ये फोन लेना है
लाइव फ्री फायर गेम की तरह है। हम हर गेम जीतते नहीं पर हर गेम से सीखते जरूर हैं। मेरा नाम है प्रियंक पटेल। मैं एलजी यूनिवर्सिटी में पिछले 6 साल से बच्चों को ऑटोमोबाइल इंजीनियरिंग पढ़ाता हूँ। मेरे जो दोस्त थे उन्होंने बोला कि आप फ्री फायर अच्छी खेलते हो, अच्छी सिखाते हो, तो क्यों ना आप गेम सिखाने के वीडियोस बनाइए। और इसीलिए मैंने गेमिंग चैनल फ्री फायर की शुरू की। सुबह 6 बजे से लेकर शाम के 4 बजे तक मैं आपको एक सिंसियर प्रोफेसर की तरह दिखूंगा और फिर शाम को 4 बजे से रात के 12 बजे तक एक हार्डकोर गेमर। फ्री फायर के वीडियोस में सबसे पहले मैं स्ट्रीमिंग करता था। एक टाइम ऐसा आया कि मेरी स्ट्रीमिंग पीक पे चल रही थी और एग्जाम्स आके रुक गई, तो मैंने कस्टम रूम्स क्रिएट करना स्टार्ट किया और उसी टाइम पे एंट्री होती है 3 लोगों की, स्टॉर्म, AK और अर्पित। तो शुरुआत तो हमने एक दूसरे के ऑपोजिट में खेलने से की थी, मगर बाद में पता चला कि साथ में बहुत ज्यादा अच्छा खेल सकते हैं। जो हम साथ में खेलते थे वो गेम से इतना अच्छा बॉन्डिंग बन गया। सो इट इज बेसिकली कि 4 दोस्त आप साथ में बैठे हो, गप्पे लड़ा रहे हो और साथ में गेम भी खेल रहे हो।
कभी मिला आप लोग?
नहीं, हम एक्चुअली में चारों एक दूसरे को कभी नहीं मिले। प्लान बहुत बने मगर मिले कभी नहीं। इंजीनियरिंग में एक कॉन्सेप्ट है क्वांटम एंटेंगलमेंट। 2 पार्टिकल के बीच में कितना भी डिस्टेंस हो, वो दोनों एक दूसरे से रिलेटेड रहते हैं। यहां पे हमारी जो दोस्ती है वो बिल्कुल क्वांटम एंटेंगलमेंट की तरह है। हम चारों एक दूसरे से दूर हैं, मगर किसी एक पे भी कुछ भी होता है तो फील चारों करते हैं, रिएक्ट चारों करते हैं। इस चीज को आप टीम सिनर्जी कह लो, ब्रदरहुड कह लो, बॉन्डिंग कह लो, कुछ भी कह लो। वो कहते हैं ना, ब्रदर फ्रॉम अनदर मदर।
मेरा नाम हर्षित है और मेरा इन गेम नेम PG स्टॉर्म है। मैं गुवाहाटी द सिटी ऑफ टेम्पल्स में रहता हूँ।
स्टॉर्म जो है ना वो एकदम रिवेंज टाइप का कैरेक्टर है, इजीली ट्रिगर्ड पर्सन आप बोल सकते हो।
प्रीसर के चैनल पे एक लाइव स्ट्रीम हो रहा था जहाँ पे कस्टम रूम्स होते थे। एक राउंड में प्रीसर ने मेरे को नॉक किया और मैंने एक राउंड में प्रीसर को नॉक किया था। फिर मैं और प्रीसर एक साथ ग्रुप में आए कि भाई कैसा लगा ऐसे करके।
मेरा नाम है अमल कृष्णा, 20 years of age। मेरा इन गेम नेम है मिस्टर AK।
AK एक्चुअली में केरला से है और AK का जो कैरेक्टर है वो भी एग्जैक्टली साउथ के मूवी के हीरो जैसा है। उसके साथ अगर आप खेल रहे हो ना तो आप कभी बोर नहीं होंगे। उसे पंगे लेना बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद है
और वो हमेशा बोलता रहता था एक मेडिकेट दे दो मैं सबको नॉक कर दूंगा, पर नॉक खुद ही हो जाता था जाके।
और उससे भी स्पेशली पसंद है मेरी किल चोरी करना।
भाई मेरा चोरी होता है किल, मैं किसी को चोरी नहीं करता, वो लोग मेरा किल चोरी करते हैं।
मेरा नाम है अर्पित पठानिया, मैं हूँ हिमाचल प्रदेश से। करंटली मैं चंडीगढ़ में रहता हूँ।
अर्पित बेसिकली बहुत ज़्यादा म्यूट रहता है,
कुछ मुंह से आवाज़ ही नहीं निकलता था।
और इसलिए कोई इंपॉर्टेंट सिचुएशन में अगर कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन देनी है कि कोई रश कर रहा है या ये हो रहा है वो हो रहा है तो वो दे नहीं पाता। गेम में बेसिकली अर्पित और स्टॉर्म ये दोनों रशर है, क्लोज रेंज फाइट्स के एक्सपर्ट है और वो हमेशा आगे भागते हैं। मैं स्नाइपर हूँ और इन गेम लीडर हूँ, तो मैं सबसे पीछे रहता हूँ। उन दोनों और मेरे बीच में रहता है एके, जो कि एक फ्रैगर है और एक असल्टर है। स्टॉर्म और एके जाते हैं रश करने के लिए, फिर क्या हो जाते हैं दोनों नॉकडाउन।
स्टॉर्म तो बोलता रहता था कि भाई तू आगे चल, मैं तेरे पीछे कवर देने के लिए हूँ।
और मुझे और अर्पित को जाना पड़ता है रिवाइव करने। नॉर्मली जब कैजुअल मैचेस खेलते हैं तो एक दूसरे की टांग खींचने में से लोग ऊपर नहीं आते। यही लोग प्रोफेशनल मैचेस खेलने जाते हैं, कोई क्रूशियल मैचेस खेल रहे हैं, रैंक पुश कर रहे हैं, तो एक दूसरे के गेम प्ले को इतना ज़्यादा समझते हैं कि बोलना भी नहीं पड़ता है और एक दूसरे को असिस्ट मिल जाता है। धीरे धीरे व्हाट्सएप के नंबर एक्सचेंज हुए, व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप क्रिएट हुआ और फिर हमारा एक टाइम था कि रात को 9 बजे स्ट्रीम स्टार्ट करना है।
रूटीन बन गया हमारा कि 9 बजे है तो अपन गेम में आना है, स्क्वाड पे लोग वेट कर रहे हैं।
व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पे मैसेजेस आना स्टार्ट हो जाता था कि भाई आ जाओ।
सुबह से लेके शाम तक 9 बजे का वेट करते थे, बिकॉज सभी लोग उसी टाइम पे ऑनलाइन आते थे और उसी टाइम पे खेलते थे।
और अगर मैं लेट हो गया हूँ, मैं खाना खा रहा हूँ, तो मेरे को फ़ोन पे फ़ोन आ रहे हैं, सर कहाँ हो, 9 बजे स्ट्रीम स्टार्ट करना है, स्ट्रीम पे आ जाओ। उस टाइम पे बॉन्डिंग ऐसी थी ना कि अगर कोई मुझको बोल जाता है ना तो दे आर बी लाइक, सर आप जवाब नहीं दोगे, आप क्यों अपना मुंह खराब करोगे, हम बैठे हैं ना आपकी ओर से। एक टाइम था जब स्ट्रीम पे बिल्कुल वॉचिंग नहीं आ रही थी, बहुत ज़्यादा डीमोटिवेट हो गया था मैं। इन लोगों ने फ़ोन करके बोला कि सर आप लाइव करना शुरू करो, आपको वॉचिंग आ जाएगी। मैंने लाइव स्टार्ट किया, 5-6 की वॉचिंग आ रही है। आई वॉज सरप्राइज कि ऐसे कैसे। मगर फिर मुझे एक दिन बाद पता चलता है कि ये लोग अपने मम्मी पापा के फ़ोन में लाइव स्ट्रीम लगा के बैठे थे। ये लोग एक बैकबोन है, एक रीज़न है कि आज मैं एक चैनल लेके खड़ा हूँ।
एक टाइम था जब मैं फाइनेंशियली और मेंटली बहुत डाउन हुआ था।
एक पापा को कोविड हो गया, ज़्यादा ही सिम्टम्स थे, तो वो पूरा प्रेशर में है। स्टॉर्म की एग्ज़ाम्स, पापा का बिजनेस, जितनी भी मतलब रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ थी वो उसको कैचअप कर रही है।
पढ़ने के लिए मेरे को घर से दूर इधर आना पड़ा। थोड़ा अकेला फील करता था, इंट्रोवर्ट था, इसीलिए ज़्यादा दोस्त भी नहीं थे।
एक टाइम था जब हम दिन में 6 घंटे खेला करते थे और अब 6 महीने हो चुके हैं साथ में नहीं खेले।
अब टाइम नहीं मिल पाता, पहले पढ़ाई थी, अब जॉब है।
तो फिर सबके एग्ज़ाम्स आने लगे, सबका थोड़ा बिजी शेड्यूल होने लग गया, तो फिर सबने थोड़ा खेलना कम कर दिया।
मैं बहुत मिस करता हूँ उस टाइम को जब हम सभी लोग गेम साथ में खेलते थे। काश कोई उसी टाइम मेरे को बता देता कि फ्यूचर में मैं गेम नहीं खेल पाऊँगा, तो उसी टाइम में 3-4 गेम शायद और खेल लेता।
कभी मिला आप लोग?
नहीं, हम एक्चुअली में चारों एक दूसरे को कभी नहीं मिले। प्लान बहुत बने मगर मिले कभी नहीं।
याद आती है?
बहुत ज़्यादा।
फाइनली गाइस, आई एम सुपर एक्साइटेड। सो आई कांट बिलीव कि मैं गुवाहाटी जा रहा हूँ।
इतना मीटिंग्स कैंसिल हो चुके हैं कि हम लोग हमेशा इसके बारे में बात करते हैं, भाई कब आ रहा है, इधर चलते हैं, उधर चलते हैं साथ में।
सब अपने काम में बिजी रहते थे और कुछ ना कुछ फिर रहता था, इसलिए मिल नहीं पाए।
पर मिलना है, साथ में बैठ के गेम खेलना है।
भाई मेरे को तो उन लोगों से मिलना है। एक मीटअप तो बस कुछ भी हो करके रहना है।
मैं रियल लाइफ में भी देखना चाहता हूँ कि वैसा ही है या कुछ चेंज है उसमें।
सो अगर अब मिल जाते हैं ना तो मज्जा पड़ी जैसे।
भी जैसे रिसेंटली प्रीसर की शादी हुई है तो हम वहाँ जाने वाले थे, लेकिन हमारे एग्जाम्स आ गए थे तो मैं जा नहीं पाया।
79 years since our last war. I don't think it can go on much more. I can feel it. We can feel it. We got peacetime kleptocrats keeping score. Keep our heads down, let them get some more. We don't need it. Let them see.
एज अ फैमिली आप जैसे कोई चीज़ को हैंडल करते हो, हम बिल्कुल उसी तरह उस चीज़ को हैंडल करते हैं और उसके अंदर फिर ना कोई बैरियर आता है या फिर ना कोई ऐसी चीज़ें आती है जो हमें रोक सके। एज अ फैमिली, एज अ क्वांटम एंटेंगलमेंट हमारी बॉन्डिंग है, सब बोल सकते हैं। मैं तो हमेशा कहता हूँ लाइफ फ्री फायर मैक्स गेम की तरह है। कभी आप जीतोगे, कभी नॉकडाउन भी हो जाओगे, पर हिम्मत मत हारिए, क्योंकि गेम की तरह जिंदगी में भी कोई आएगा, आपको रिवाइव करेगा और एक ना एक दिन आपका बुया हो ही जाएगा। तो फोन उठाओ, अपने दोस्तों से बात करो और गरीना फ्री फायर मैक्स खेलो।
For years, we brought justice to our city. We made mistakes, fought amongst ourselves. Many of us fell along the way.
I almost admire your perseverance, Tyson. You and I could have been a great team.
You'll never put your hands on my research. This ends today. You need to fight back. Sonya is controlling you. No, old friend. She freed me.
Good evening and welcome everyone to TEZ FFMIC India Cup 2025. This is day 2 of week 2 for league stages. Today Group A and C are set to clash, with Group C facing their final opportunity to unleash their full potential and secure the spot in the next phase. This is me, Tanya. Alongside me, it is Azora. Hey Azora, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing really good, Tanya. Moreover, like you rightly mentioned, that it is going to be Group C's final day, and this makes the entire day even more enthusiastic from their end. Moreover, Group A, the way they have already initiated things in week one, we could understand the gravity of the situation, and now's the time where Group C needs to go ahead and understand how well they can go ahead and bring those points, because I know for a fact that Group A is going to stop them in every nook and cranny. So let's see how the performance is going to come from the likes of Group C, as they're the ones to go ahead and finish that 18 marker.
Yeah, sure thing. And talking about the entire set of tournament, it has been a long journey. So we should definitely make sure that audience understand what is the exact tournament format, which each and every team has qualified to reach towards the league stages week 2. It has been week 1 of league stages of Battle Royale, which we had 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of August. Right now, we are in the mid of week 2, and top 12 teams of week 2 are going to make sure and move ahead towards week 3, which is going to be held on 6th of September. On 6th of September, top 2 teams are going to directly head towards grand finals. On 7th of September, the 12 teams participating, out of which top 2 teams are going to head towards grand finals. And then comes same repetitive manner for 13th of September. Top 2 teams are going to qualify towards grand finals, but 14th September is somewhere a ticket to the train, a final ticket. If you're able to get that ticket, you go towards grand finals or you move out of this tournament, and that is the final day of decision about which 12 teams are going to go ahead and participate, for which they have been practicing hard all the way from in-game qualifiers to online qualifiers towards league stages now.
Well, true, and not only that, the opportunity to go ahead and get even the CS mode activated. It is going to be the top 8 teams who can go ahead and enjoy the moments for it. And talking about the Clash Squad, we can go ahead and analyze and understand the entire format for that as well, as it's going to be on our screens right about now. So here's the thing, right? The factor where the teams are going to go ahead and bring in the 100%, this is the place where they can go ahead and get that additional bit of the prize pool chunk that they require. We do understand the gravity of the situation. It's a total prize pool of 1 crore, to which 80 lakh is given to the Battle Royale mode, and then later on it is 20 lakh given to the CS mode. And in CS mode, you still have the opportunity to go ahead and get more chunk of the prize pool. As you can see, day 1, it is going to be a BO3 affair alongside day 2 as well. But day 2, it will be more of an intense sequence where teams are going to go ahead, give their 100%. And here's the thing, right? The final 4 teams, when they head towards the grand finals, what kind of fight they're going to go through, this is going to come up next.
Well, this is all about the grand final pattern for Clash Squad. It is going to be top 4 teams qualifying. 2 teams are going to fight against each other, and this is all going to be under the best of 5 patterns. One of the teams from each group is going to qualify towards one step closer towards the champion, and then the 2 teams are going to move ahead and fight the final battle towards the victory of the Clash Squad manner, which is way different from what Battle Royale is, because you have to make sure that you perform with the best of the powers, not much of strategy but more of skill and firepower. Having said that, we have got one more set to explain you, which is Champion Rush format. Why wouldn't you explain it, Azora?
For sure. Grand finals, here's the thing, right? Every single one of them wants to be crowned as a champion. How can it reach to that stage? It's all about the Champion Rush format. The grand final, it's going to be maximum of 10 games in that. If a team reaches to 80 points, that's how they go ahead and activate the Champion Rush. Now, here's the catch. If you go ahead and get a Booyah in the upcoming game in one of those 10 games, then yes, you're going to be crowned as the champion. But if all of those maps are going to go all the way towards the 10th one, then here's the thing. You will be crowned the champion, but here's one catch. The amount of points that you've accumulated, that is going to be the trifecta.
Your thing, if at all you're not able to win through towards the 80-point rush pattern, the total overall leaderboard scoreboard is going to take away the title and the trophy and a moolah. Well, until now, if you talk about the leaderboard, it is NG Pros. They are very strong, very promising, and they are coming from Group C. 284 points already accumulated and long way to go, having 6 maps still still having 6 maps on their hand. Now we have to talk
True.
about few teams who have underperformed Azura. It is Team Hint, NG Silver
Right.
Eagle, Nightmare Esports. Aerobots is today going to have a chance to prove in, and they do have that sort of skill and ability. Thus, they have qualified towards league stages. What is your call for the underdogs teams? What do you think are going to rise up and shine?
I believe that either it's a make or break situation, and in the midst of all of that, if they want to go ahead and destroy the games of the table toppers, they're more than welcome to go ahead and do that. As we all have emphasized this enough, that Group C, this is the last bout to go ahead and hit that 24 marker. 6 more maps will be played from their end, and in that entire lot, I've seen so many teams underperforming, and here's a place where they can start igniting that fire. Autobots specifically, they have been consistent. They have been one of those teams who have always provided the benchmark players. So let's just go ahead and understand how well they can perform in this one. And it is mandatory for them to initiate in a really good note. Team Insane as well, we have seen those kind of performances coming in. And I'm moreover hoping that all of these teams, even in Group A, who have been underperforming since day one. For example, Nightmare, they haven't been doing that much.
Yeah.
Aerobots, they did showcase some really good plays, but in the middle of just a bad day, the next day they bounce back really good. And week 2 will be a testament for them too, to go ahead and be in the first 9 slots, which is important for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about bounce back, I would definitely put SA12 on number 1. The way they have bounced back with 2 booyahs on their name, and again making sure to get committed towards top 6 slots of the leaderboard. Well, they have shown a tremendous performance when it was Group B and C. Are they going to perform with the new teams now up against them? Right now, it is going to be Group A, where Genesis Esports, where they have sent a strong benchmark for themselves on the map of Purgatory, followed by Godlike Esports. Started promisingly, but right now shaky. Jaunty Gaming, Sure Shot, strong enough to perform. Nightmare Esports, Team Total Gaming, well, they are the most dominant ones in the lobby of 12 right now, and Aerobots as well.
You know, here's the thing, right? Group A is always called the most volatile group. Jaunty Gaming specifically, they have showcased their elimination game being super strong, but moving forward in the league stages, they could not perform that much. Total Gaming on the other end, if you talk about the department of getting those placement points, if you talk about the department of getting eliminations, every single thing is top notch. So I'm expecting Total Gaming to go haywire in every and any map possible and stop Group C from getting those points that they want to accumulate and head towards the starting 8. And here's the place where we can see Group A coming into the picture. The team looks absolutely fantastic. Jaunty Gaming on the other end, they need to showcase some really nice gameplay. Aerobots alongside Nightmare, these are the 3 teams who have been underperforming, and the performance need to be showcased right about now. Game 1, they have to be solid, they have to be concrete, and alongside they need to even throw away the rust and bring back those greasy wheels in order to move forward.
Sure thing. They have to make sure they bring in whatever grease that they need to move ahead, and this is the last space where they can bring in the best of whatever they possess. Talking about these 6 teams, it's very strong enough to mention few names, which is Total Gaming without a doubt, and Godlike Esports. They have definitely underperformed in group in week 2 or in the week 1 as well. But talking about this particular lineup, Team SA12, yesterday they performed very well. Divine is the man to watch out for if it comes towards the Team SA12. Team Tycoons, Hitman is one of the sniper that you can never miss to watch out for, and Autobots Esports, Mac is one of the man where he makes sure to revive his teammate as and when necessary, and to bring up the team alive and kicking. And the rest 3 teams, Car98 Army, this is one of the underdog teams which are strong enough to bring in the best of the performance, especially when it comes to Soul and Bot God. NG Pros, this team needs no introduction. They are the introduction themselves for the entire tournament. And then comes Revenant X Park.
That's like the highest gameplay that they've showcased. But talking about the team comparison, this rivalry has been there throughout. You talk about Crossroads, you talk about just entering and purging the enemies. Both of them are always going to be there in the elimination feed. And that's what difference That's what differentiates this team from the others. You talk about the damage, it's looking lethal, the amount of eliminations as well. It's very close, just 10 away from Total Gaming. Placement points, yes, Total Gaming has been consistent over that as well. And the amount of booyahs that they've received is 3. So overall, it's a big difference maker, and that's where Godlike Esports, they need to start shining, because this rivalry, if it needs to go on for a longer time, then you have to qualify.
You definitely have to make sure that you qualify, and it was a good explanation coming from your end. But now we are going to have a look upon head-to-head comparison between two players, both of them belonging to Group C right now. Cropsy, well, the man, wherever he is the man, the myth, the legend. You cannot turn your eyes from him if he is in the lobby and the cameras are all facing on him. And same action comes for Sahil. If he is alive, the team for sure reaches the top 3 and sometimes also heading towards Booyah. Look at the comparison, 34 and 35 elimination, whereas definitely Cropsy delivers a lot of extra damage as compared to the Grenadier coming in from the side of Sahil. But knocks 40 to 35 and 35 assists from Cropsy, and Sahil is delivering 22 worth of damage all through the throwables most of the time, which is a big job that he's delivering.
True that, and Sahil, all thanks to yesterday's performance, Revenant X-Spark, they're going to have that spark within them. It's reignited, and I believe for a fact that Group C, the final 6 rounds that they're going to go ahead for, Sahil is going to be that major game changer, providing the kind of eliminations that the team needs alongside the intel gathering as well. We all know for a fact that Beaston, Alvaro will be there, but alongside Koda can be in the picture as well to give that enhanced information onto what's happening. But more insight onto what the map schedule looks like. It's going to be Purgatory, Nexterra, Kalahari, followed up by Solara, Bermuda, alongside Alpine. So again, the mix and match is looking absolutely amazing. This just showcases that the teams have to be more versatile onto what needs to be done and when that kind of comeback should be initiated.
And talking about Purgatory, it is one of the biggest map in the mix of entire tournament, and in this big map with a very lesser cover and a lesser availability of the compounds. Glue wall is something that you must make sure that you have packed your bags properly, and Purgatory is going to be one of the maps where a few teams might go ahead and land up into the tiny island to go have a safe landing. But Ozora, if I had to bring my insight to that, today nobody is going to be left safe. I mean, each and every team is going to make sure that they are forced to go ahead and crash land. And today, it's not going to be the allowance to go 1:3 split. If you spot a team, you are going to make sure to eliminate. And today, it's the fight for the Group C that they make sure that the split works into their favor in whatever manner. Because if they are able to do it today, they are going to raise themselves a spot for tomorrow or for the next week very strongly. And being in top 12 is something that the situation demands from them.
Of course, and talking about teams to watch out for the first map in day 2, Purgatory, Genesis Esports, Car 98 Army, and Godlike Esports. These 3 teams have been going ham in this particular map. So let's just see how well they can go ahead and perform. As we all know, whenever the spotlight is on you, there's always going to be that 1-star team going ahead and dethroning you. So let's see whether Genesis, Car 98, Godlike Esports, they will be able to match up to the level, or they might be pulled down.
Well, Godlike Esports is one of the teams that I would definitely want to perform. But having said that, look at Purgatory. More of underdogs performances have got the upper hand here. You call it Genesis Esports, you call it Car 98 Army. And then in the mix, you get to see one of the most dominant teams until league stages. We haven't seen the originality of Godlike Esports after entering the league stages. And they need to make sure they buckle up as well, because they are not in the first half of the leaderboard. They are in the second half of the leaderboard. Sure, it is going to be their first time participating in the week 2 of league stages. They're still at 12 mappers right now. This is going to be the first one. But then it's always a word. The team to procure the first booyah has got some head start points for themselves, where they make sure that they perform with consistency. There lies the responsibility to always maintain with what they have already achieved. So it depends if Genesis, who has got a stronger hand on the grounds of Purgatory, the question mark will continue. Will they be allowed to, even if they can?
Exactly. So let's just go ahead and see where all of these teams are going to love to drop and whether the drop clashes are going to be imminent or not. Most of the teams are expecting certain kind of shenanigans coming in Marvel Works, or it's going to be Crossroads, as we always can see. Wait a second. What is Total Gaming doing in Central? It's always going to be Crossroads, where Godlike alongside Total Gaming, they're going to be locking horns in the beginning itself. And there might be this one situation or a tangent where Team Tycoons, they're going to head to Moat House, get their loots, and head all the way towards Crossroad in order to spoil the game of Group A. And they need the ignition, they need the start. Talk about fields, it is going to be the house of STUL alongside Aeroboss to go ahead and showcase how well they can get those elimination points at the very beginning. Basilia being one of the perfect spots for non-stop pros, but I know for a fact that there's going to be another team coming in for the drop clash.
Yeah, for sure. They are not going to be allowed, let alone having 7 compounds on the grounds of Brasilia. But one team that concerns me the most for time being is SATUL. They have performed tremendously well yesterday, and now landing upon the fields is going to bring them into a vulnerable position where they can be attacked easily, where they can be targeted easily, not only from one team but from multiple direction. If you have a look at the ski lodge, we do have 2 teams over there, one of which is Genesis, strongest team on the map of Purgatory. Near to that is Team Jaunty Gaming. Just near to them, there is several other teams. So for now, if SHL decides to land on fields, they are the person of target. They are the exact what do we call them? I mean, they are on the hit list of each and every team because they know it's an open area. There's no compound for them, and let's not allow them to run away from anywhere and we grab those 4 points.
True that, and moreover, here's another factor, right? All the kind of weapons that they can bring in alongside the artificial cover, for example, the monster truck, all of that will be super important as our prediction. So I have already locked my horns with it. Tanya, I would love to see yours as well. Car 98 being the common trifecta here. Moreover, I have gone with RNTX to showcase that they need to perform as well and be in the safe spot rather than just being in the outside. So let's just see how well they can perform. NG Pros coming in from your end. Of course, yesterday's performance has been top notch. Total 98 points was secured yesterday, which means it's the highest in the room. And second highest was at around 96 or 93 coming in from Total Gaming in a single day. So NG Pros, they're already onto a really good start. Let's see whether the momentum can load in or not. Moreover, I know for a fact that Godlike has come in from your end in this factor that Godlike needs to perform. So yes, please, I would love to know from your end as well.
And I do believe Genesis having the upper hand today. It's not more about how well can you perform. It's about how you make sure to derail the teams who are supposed to be well performing.
Precisely.
And Genesis is going to be the target over here. They are not going to be allowed to go ahead and grab the booyah. And that is exactly why I have not chosen them. Sure, they've got the safest spot on the grounds of Ski Lodge. Sure, they have got the perfect rotation set in their mind, and which is functioning very well with a lot of numbers in elimination points as well. But still, today is not just a day or just a 6 map per day. It is the stakes are very high, and with that sort of stakes, it's not about how strongly do you build your own homes. It's also about how strongly do you destroy other homes so that you can build your home with those stolen bricks. So somewhere I feel that the team to do that should be Team Total Gaming, and they are strongest at it. Whenever there comes a room of opportunity for third party, they are not going to deny that, and this is the perfect point to prove. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm ready. So is Azora. This is going to be the very first map for TEZ FFMIC India Cup 2025 on the grounds of Purgatory.
Well, I would love to say one thing here, Tanya, is that when your house is made of glass, you should not throw stones at someone else. And I know for a fact that most of the teams from, for example, Group C, their house is made of glass, and I would love to see them not throwing stones at each other or throw stones at Group A. That would be the best thing to do. The flight path dissecting the entire map, crystal clear. Marble works can be exploited from the teams who want to head towards that corner, but I can see this one squad heading there. Car 98 alongside Godlike. And there it is, Total Gaming. They want to lock horns, whether it be Crossroads or be a dissection. They're always going to be there.
My eyes are all upon this first circle itself, inclusive of all three islands, and look at the drop points. Nobody is central. Central was supposed to be the earliest drop clash. SHUL is going to land in pretty strongly, but there's one team, that is Team Total Gaming, who's going to make sure to start off the fight, and Mafia will struggle bad over here. Doesn't matter much because Aztec is going to do the deal dirty, and he's going to grab some points right off the start, and would also make sure to save delete. Mafia couldn't be saved, but it was a good battle, and over here Aztec secures his second elimination points.
Right outside Crossroads and Car 98, they're very interested on to what's going on here, and Mafia is brought back into the picture. Total Gaming once again banding together, and Car 98 watching from afar struggle on the other end. He has also opened guns against Flash 11, and Flash from the likes of Team Tycoons has been taken down. There comes the information, Dinocle is being utilized, and this might give that enhanced view onto what's going on. Where exactly is Car 98? As Team Tycoons, they're taking a different fight altogether against Nightmare nonetheless. So this is chaotic. Starting, drop clashes are looking sublime, and teams are trying to get the advantage right off the bat.
UAV will be destroyed over here to not relay any information to the teams around them, and Mount will consists of two teams right now. But before that, look at Car 98 against Team Total Gaming, and Team Total Gaming are the elimination leaders, and they are going to make sure that Car 98 suffer very badly over here, and two players already down on the lead. It's all about the last man standing, and how long will they survive is going to work. And Team Total Gaming with 5 elimination points. What a head start, what a jump start. Team Godlike is shattering and reviving, and they're still up in the open fields on the grounds of Crossroads on the map of Purgatory.
Oh, this is not at all good. But look at Total Gaming. 5 eliminations strong already, and Yogi, he thinks that he is safe, but unfortunately those shots are gonna hit like a tank. Shanky, he's way too low. He needs a revival, and the revival will not be given, but instantly the retaliation is equally good. Yogi, he has been that superintendent of taking shots, being a sniper, and now's the time where he's going to pay for the sins. Shots fired, and Yogi, way too low of HP, instantly goes in for the heal. He needs to have that ability to go ahead and escape from this situation. Glue walls deployed again and again, and this is the kind of aggression that Total Gaming keeps showcasing. It doesn't matter whether there's a glue wall in front or not. They're going to take those shots constantly, break it down, and there goes the will of Yogi to live. He's been taken down. And on the other end, it's not like trying to retaliate harder than expected.
Marco, very low on HP, will be revived in the blink of an eye. Yogi sure spotted. The sniper could not function well, but the rushers of the team are definitely trying to defend the team as long as possible. It's all about Shanky, the last man, near to the vending machine. They've got the information with P90 nearby. No utilities will be used for now to get more information over it, and Shanky is trying to pave their way. Look at Aztec's position. Sure, Yogi will be revived. Aztec on the upper grounds. If at all Nobita decides to push against Aztec, he will be turned into ashes, and the position is everything that matters. Shanky also passing on all the information with its and bits, with every inch and with every second. It is a close call duels, 2 trees, and the fight up against
Watch your back.
And also throwables coming nearby.
Shanky, he needs the kind of support. And Aztec, he's the one to provide. Long range snipes coming in. Close quarter battle. Marco already taken down. Godlike, they're not having the momentum that they need right off the bat. And look at the way Total Gaming is constantly reaping those rewards. And there you go. Raphael being utilized, one shot, and after that the bleed was imminent. Shanky, he has been taken down. All of the shenanigans for now are gonna be suppressed, and this double takedown is looking really nice for the likes of Nobita. He's trying to provide the support for the team, and Yogi, he's instantly bleeding, and this is not at all good. They have a buyback, they're gonna bring back Yogi, but the kind of momentum Godlike requires, they're not able to go ahead and get that, and that's where Total Gaming is winning.
And over here, God, like, do not even have sufficient amount of tokens to bring back Marco. Sure, Nancy will have them. Marco will be back in the lobby. Having the information of Aztec. And right off the start, what we got to see was the rivalry stats between Team Godlike and Team Total Gaming. And now we know exactly why did the stats matter. They've got the same strategies. They've got the same retaliation factors. And they've got the same glue wall breaking and rushing status. And the last man standing is being pushed up against 3 total of players, and there's no way that player is going to survive. Nobita is stuck in this caravan, and if at all he's able to get 1 elimination points, there's nothing beyond that. 1 throwable should be enough. And here comes the push of aggression, and Nobita will be put to sleep. It was a good clinical push coming in with an entire team support.
Exactly. Moreover, getting those points are gonna be super important. Godlike, there you go, the vending machine right in front, and I believe Nobita is gonna be bought back real soon. The credits on the other end, they are depleting in an instant. They're still playing the game of Marco and Polo. A Nightmare on the other end, they're the ones to find NG Pros. NG Pros, they've been so aggressive in the previous day, and right now I feel that Nightmare, they're the ones to go ahead and lock those horns against such a tier 1 team. Cropsy, he has been taken down. Long range fights coming in, and it's going to be RNTX. They're going to be the uninvited guest to go ahead and take a shot or two. And wait a second, Wolvin, why would you over-aggress? That kind of approach is always going to take you down, but Lewis is way too close to go ahead and give that revival. This fight was not that long-lived. As Nightmare, they want to get those points, and they're slowly going ahead and accumulating it. Manu being the far range, and he has been taken care as well. But in the middle of all of that, Rochak has been eliminated. So let's just see how well Nightmare is going to go ahead and take that advantage, bring him back, and moreover, get those points that they so dearly need. Nightmare, this is the kind of comeback that they need. Alongside, they're just embarking it already.
Talking about this particular fight, Aerobot struggling bad against Genesis, and a long-range support coming in from Shyam of Aerobot. Is it enough? Throwables will be introduced as
Lovely
well. The players
revival.
are getting down on HP, and there's no way that they can survive this sort of a battle. Sheikh trying to move, reunite, reassemble with his teammates, and here comes the launch pad. And they decide not to pick up this fight where they have to suffer a loss.
HP?
A smart move indeed. A very smart move, but not for so long.
HP?
Sheikh went fall back. Sheikh went for that strategy to get some elimination points on his name. The launch pad used wisely for sure, but he was able to take down. And now RNT, wherever the fight is happening, they are making sure to grab some elimination points. A while before, when it was NG Pros fighting against Nightmare, they got some elimination points there. Now again, they're getting some points here. Now it has 2 big teams instead not two big teams comparing to Team Total Gaming, but sure, 2 same strategic teams are going to come against each other. Team Total Gaming and Team Tycoons. Marble Works will be the ground, and whose graves will be dig here will be the question, because I do spot 2 players from each team.
Indeed. 3 players from the likes of Total Gaming, and there is a big flank coming in from the backside. This can be that one deadly situation. Hitman on the other end thought that he's going to be the smart lad. The support, however, was not provided. Total Gaming, they are continuously going ahead and devouring all of those points, and now Car98 army is already close by. They want to go ahead and get those eliminations as well. They're falling short with so many, with 8 total elimination points. As Total Gaming, they're already embarked with a double digit. This can be the fight that we've been seeing for so long, but Delete in the midst of all of that has taken down. The strategy is looking weak all of a sudden, and Total Gaming, they need the escape at this very moment. Aztec, he's very close. He's going to be that one person of sacrificial lamb, as I can say, that can go ahead and take the battle against Car98 army, but unfortunately he falls down and perishes. The last man standing from the likes of Total Gaming, he is the flag bearer, and I would love to see him bringing every single player back into the picture. Shanky being the last man standing.
How long will he survive? Will he bring back the team's teammates. And talking about teams over here, we did spot NG Pros taking down Team Autobots here in a blink of an eye. It was a good push coming in from the side of NG Pros, and now the circle is also shrinking. Revenant, X-Park, Aerobots as well as Genesis have to pave their way, but while paving the way, they have to fight up against Team Jaunty Gaming, who have not yet introduced themselves to anybody in the lobby. They have made sure to secure all the resources that they have accumulated. Look at this! What is this happening? Small shack, three or four players of Godlike in one shack, and just on the fence there is Nightmare Esports, two throwables. Is everything to shut down Team Godlike? Why isn't anything used as of now? Why is nobody peeking? It
The
is
information.
a pause.
The information, they don't have it just yet. Nightmare, they've been playing so good. Just one Dinoculus, and that's it. The information will be revealed. There are some reloads coming in. Yes, they have spotted those barrels, but they're not taking any fight. All thanks to SATO being right in front. They do not want to be that patty between the sandwich. And that's a really good decision coming in. But on the other end, we could see an elimination coming in. Genesis, unfortunately, they have been completely eradicated from the maps of Purgatory. This is not at all looking good.
And now when we are looking at the overall leaderboard, non-stop gamers are doing very good. And on the course, Aerobots will also be taken down and put to sleep. Total Gaming, they've got only one player, which is Shanky, surviving, and he hasn't been able to revive. Is he short on tokens, or is he not near to the vending machine? We'll get to know that. But before that, look at Team RNTX. They're fighting, and they are now. It is time for Team Jaunty Gaming introducing themselves about their existence, and machine gun comes into the action for Kunal, and shotgun for the close range. A good choice of weapons, and the vehicles will be used. And are they deciding to push in? No, they are trying to decide. They're deciding to go in within the circle to avoid the damage. No, they are making sure of to fight this battle. And on the course, Team Total Gaming has already been eliminated. They are in the safe spot for now. Zone is not going to deliver any damage. Ridge is going to bring a better cover for Team RNT, and in the position where Jaunty Gaming is, they are showing the backs to the teams unknown, and they are ready to pick up that sort of risk. And this bunch of 8 players, they are building a cocoon. Are they going to turn into a butterfly? What is this exact strategy for these 8 players? Only time will show us.
Silence. That's the strategy. They're not at all going ahead and showcasing where they are. And yes, the amount of trigger discipline that is maintained right now is absolutely sublime. Jaunty Gaming on the other end, calling in those shots, heading inside the circle, but I believe they're going to meet their rivals real soon. As NG Pros, they have the height advantage. Sahil, he thinks that he's going to do something better, but Lewis in the middle of all of that has been taken down. The artificial cover, it is going to be helping them overall building up that HP bar, but eventually they are all going to fall down due to that circle and the damage. It is no wrecking. RNTX outside the circle, little to no information onto what's happening, and this is what will make them fall. But here's the thing, the silence is finally broken down, and we can see the battle, and Nightmare, they have turned those tides and godlike esports. They have been eliminated. My oh my, Nightmare, what a lovely game coming in from their end. But now is the time where they have to go ahead, get those HP bars back, and then showcase what they can do with a couple of players.
And now it is all about Team SHUL. They've got the information of Sahil, one of the strongest man on the other end. Let's see Arsh versus Sahil, who's going to survive. A lot of shots connected already. Sahil shot on HP, decides to move back and also heal up himself. And on the course, Team Tycoons will also be decimated. It's all about 4 teams. SHUL, Car 98, Nightmare Esports, and RNTX. And Nightmare has already got 10 elimination points, and they have set the perfect example for David versus Goliath. They shut down the Titans, and they shut down Godlike Esports. The trigger discipline they bought in was just about perfect. Team SHUL surviving. The zone is shrinking in. They don't have much cover to work out with. They have to pave their way. They have to enter towards the warehouses where one team is already waiting. Car 98 is also showering bullets, showering leads upon them, and they are using blue walls, and they are not suffering. They are not the suffering end as of now. And here comes the information, and that is exactly what they needed.
The information was there, but in any which case, Nightmare, they're playing it to perfection. They're moving in slowly but surely. Scala being utilized, the entertainment CEO going ahead and devastating all the hopes of RNTX as they're completely exposed. Somehow those glue walls that they have stacked up and racked up in their bag is helping them out, but this one nade is going to take down Radhe Thakur. Nightmare, one man standing. What can he do for the entire team as RNTX? They're also one limb shot. Sahil being the last man standing, he has been taken care of. Car 98 from the other corner, they're shoving those bullets and they're making lives living hell for the likes of multiple teams. And now's the time where they're locking horns against SATUL. And the SATUL, they're taking it very slow. They have the manpower advantage. Graffiti blessing being utilized, aka no nades are going to touch them at all whatsoever. And there comes the push. Divine, he has been taken down alongside Licky, but this entire rush game is looking completely opposite as Star 98. They were prepared for this one bit, but the revival, they're coming through. And Arjun from far off angle, he's watching the entire show. He should have taken those spot shots, but he has made one thing clear, that the team is going to head towards the top two. But what else can he do? Can he get those points for the team? Bot God rushing forward, and I believe this is it for the likes of Nightmare.
And he definitely got those elimination points before he went off. And here comes the Booyah Bagger Car 98 Army. And it is the day where they have to make sure they perform. And they performed it pretty well and clean. Same goes for Team SATUL. The continuity happens to be shown over and over time. Talking about Sid, Soul, Bot God and Harsh. They brought in a game where they did not only decide to fight right off the drop, but also made sure to pick up some fights on the verge of rotations and winning those fights. And they were in the prediction list of us. So somewhere around the corner, they performed with everything that they had to. And we discussed about Genesis will be the targets, and they were taken down pretty quickly.
Here's the thing, Car 98 Army, they're on cloud 9 right now. The kind of performance that they showcased yesterday, it's just being carried forward, and that's what I love about this team. They are the underdogs. They are showcasing every single grit to go ahead and perform so well, even against such a volatile group, which is Group A. They are not at all worried about what's happening. They're taking those fights in SATUL. They had the advantage. They were inside the circle, but unfortunately, the rush gameplay was not on point. So capitalization versus how they could go ahead and bring in those Oscar dashes or those Tatsuya dashes could have been much more better or refined. But I believe the hesitation onto going ahead and taking the fight and being shot on their backs from the likes of Nightmare is where they got themselves off guard, and that's how they lost the entire fight. But moreover, Car 98 Army, the way they understood the assignment, they got those elimination points, they were on a hot streak, and this is the booyah that they wanted to bag since game one itself. This will give them a lot of confidence, and well, I thought that Group C is going to be suppressed, but unfortunately Group C is the one performing better.
And here we go ahead and have a look at the final shot that came in from the side of Team Car 98. It was a 1v3 situation for sure, and Arjun delivered whatever best that he could. He was the one who created a problem for Team SATUL. See, this is the shot that he connected very nicely. He got a point for himself, and no, he got a knock for himself, which he couldn't convert into a point. And there comes the shotgun rush, and here comes a final shot where Arjun was not able to do it and said, did he just go for John Cena, you can't see me, or was he just trying to show 4 points for me? It was a good one from Car 98 Army. It is time to just relax, had a sip of water, and a lot of celebration and smiles. It is the perfect way anybody would want to celebrate their very first victory in the league stages, week 2, and it is day number 2. 21 points on their name, and Nightmare Esports is the talk of the town right now. The way they performed against Team Godlike, 20 points on their name. Then comes Revenant Xbox, 18 points on their name, and SATUL and NG Pros 14 and 13 points respectively.
Nightmare, 20 total points. Of course, they're going to be a talk of the town. Purgatory, they've already gone ahead and they've passed with flying colors. 20 points is a massive thing to go ahead and achieve. Specifically, this team not able to perform in week 1 has showcased that they can go ahead and do something better in week 2. And this is just the beginning for the likes of Group A. So let's just see how well Nightmare is going to carry forward this similar kind of momentum as Car 98 Army. They've been doing this since yesterday. So good performance overall, total 21 points. And you talk about Soul, he's the one man who is providing all of those shots with the M590. First one being from the shotgun, and then second one is just a congratulatory shot coming in. So Tatsuya being deployed, of course, being that one rebellious kid who goes ahead, takes those fights up front alongside the Silver Spoon and Shani's ability to go ahead and fix his armors, mend his helmet. That is important. Taking those damage alongside heading towards the circle from the blue zone was all thanks to Ford. So overall, a really good performance coming in from the likes of a Russia nonetheless. And Car 98, they are standing true with every single question that you provide in front of them.
Well, we did talk about Car 98 Soul's exact what character skills he used to bring in the MVP title on his name, but let's also have a look about what entire team picked up in terms of character skills. Skylar coming in from the side of Sid, Sniper's best option, and Chrono from the side of Harsh, a little defensive yet proactive play spotted from the side of Harsh, and then comes bot god Oscar. Well, the combination of Tatsuya and Oscar and the timely dashes that they both can use at the right time is something that is working for each and every team, and they have realized this combo. And this is somewhere Skylar, Tatsuya, and Oscar is spotted from each and every team. Right now, we are also seeing Chrono being deployed, and it was a good defensive strategy that was coming in from his end. And then Beaston as well. And alongside that, he has got Alvaro equipped, due to which the throwables function pretty clean. And talking about pretty clean, he delivered almost 1200 worth of a damage, from which 1 elimination, 4 assists, and 2 knockdowns in his name. And Sid, sure, he did not get any pointers on his name, but it is all about assists and damage and the positioning and the cover fire that he provided. And bot god, let's talk about him. 1100 and above damage, 2 elimination, 3 assists, and 2 knockdowns. And limelight has to be taken away by none other than Car 98 Soul, and thus he procures that title of MVP.
True that, 6 total eliminations, every single thing falling right for the likes of Car 98 Army, and now's the time where they can go ahead and bank upon it. But if you talk about the way the amount of damage was initiated from so many teams, let's just go ahead and understand in game summary itself. The beginning of the day and 50k plus damage already procured. This is amazing to go ahead and watch, as the amount of glue walls that were destroyed is always going to be greater in this lobby, as godlike Total Gaming, they love to go ahead and shatter all of that glue wall, as the teams think that it's going to be a place where you can go ahead and reside, you can go ahead and make a cocoon, but both of them make it living hell for you to even stay there. So overall, the glue walls destroyed is 199, and I know for a fact that the numbers are going to climb from here on. So let's just see how well teams are going to go ahead and understand what will happen next, as they need to start predicting the teams on what the rotations are going to look like and how well the teams are going to perform in the upcoming maps.
Talking about upcoming map, it is going to be the map of Nexterra, where we are going to see a lot of teleportation happening, and it is the map where much of elimination points matter, rather placement points. And with the duality that I say here, placement points definitely do matter, but over here, because of the easier opportunity to revive your teammates with the teleporters coming in handy, I do personally feel that Nexterra is more and more of teams who can go ahead, grab some extra elimination points. Even after any other team taking away the booyah, you still stand a chance to grab the number 1 position.
So yeah, it's all about how the teams are going to go ahead and understand the rotation patterns as well. We could see Car 98, they were so under the radar. Yes, we could see them right next to Total Gaming, and then later on even Godlike. But then the way they shifted their gears, that's how you go ahead and get the capitalization over a specific spot. So let's just see how well the teams are going to go ahead and perform. But talking about the teams to watch out for in the map of Nexterra, has to be Total Gaming, NG Pros, and Nightmare themselves. The previous game has been really good for them, so I believe this might be the cherry on top situation for them.
If they are able to perform exactly as they have played by far, Team Total Gaming, well, there's no comparison with whatever they have played by far. They have played with perfection. NG Pros choked a little bit by the end of the circle, but Nightmare Esports, the trigger discipline that they showcased in this particular map of Purgatory, even after knowing the position, even after having all the information, and all they had to do was just go and pop a few grenades. Still, they made sure we do not want to go in that way, and that was presence of mind properly utilized coming in from Nightmare Esports. And if they take away the booyah on the grounds of Nexterra, it will be a proud moment for them, because having taken down one of the strongest team in the lobby already boosts your morale. And now we are also going to have a look upon the map of Nexterra, which is their preferred drop spot.
Well, I would say that all of these teams, they need to buckle up, as I know for a fact that Nightmare is going to give them nightmares. It's going to be PTSD all across. So let's just see how well they can go ahead and analyze the situation. Zipway being a trifecta for 3 teams. And this is just a tentative location for all of these teams to land down and take those fights. Jaunty, I know for a fact that they always head towards the boxing gym. And Godlike, they have a player or two heading towards Zipway to get the advantageous situation, get those elimination points, and then stay towards right underneath Plazaria, the 6-pack region, where they can go ahead and bring back the player back into the picture. And Grav Labs being one of the perfect spots for most of the teams to go ahead and have some fun alongside get some elimination points, as Museum is close by, and the rotations that we can see from the likes of RNTX, of course, is going to showcase how well they're prepared for this kind of a battle.
Well, talking about Intellect Center, I've got my intel over it. I personally feel that we're going to witness more than 3 teams over there, and the team SHL is not going to be the only one landing there. They have been very consistent comparing yesterday to today. I thought there might be a little bit of a shift, but there isn't. They are consistent enough. But talking about Nexterra, let's also talk about our predictions on the map about who might be in the podium, who might take away the Booyah Warrior. NG, Genesis, and SHL are my picks. And we have common names here. Sure, the chronology is different, but somewhere we do have 3 common names there.
I completely did not escape from jail just because of this. So Genesis, NG Pros, SATUL, all 3 of them have been performing really good. Genesis, I know for a fact that they need the kind of ignition, and it's so far a cold start for them. So might as well go ahead and start things in a really good manner. In the previous game, we could see those rotations coming in, but it was very willy-nilly. Last moment switcheroos, thinking about heading towards the circle and taking the launch pad, and Junior getting caught in the crosshair. Well, that was not the ideal situation that they wanted to go for. So let's just see how well they can go ahead and call in the rotations. SAQL, the previous game, could have been better. They had the man count advantage, and I don't know why. It's like our predictions are falling so right. These teams performed so well in the previous one. They were just shy of few elimination points in order to go ahead and get that booyah. So it can be said for multiple teams who were there in the final circles alongside Nightmare as well. So let's just see how well they can go ahead and perform in the map of Nexterra, as most of the time it's just unannounced guests coming in their house. So yeah, warning signs all across.
Yeah, you're not going to be welcomed at all. If there's a marked territory, you do not tend to enter. If at all you decide, you might be buried 6 feet under. And it is going to be the map of Nexterra. We are pretty excited to again hopping into the skies of Nexterra. And which team lands where? Sure, I'll be eyeing at Intellect Center. Let's not expect that Deca Square is going to be empty as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this is TEZ FFMIC India Cup Week 2, Day 2, Group ANC, Game number 2, Nexterra.
Oh, well, the rotation is looking really nice, and the way the teams are heading towards their designated spots is absolutely beautiful. Intellect Center, all right, Total Gaming. They have kept even SATUL behind. They have pushed them back. And look at that, Sham OP, he's still figuring out where he needs to head towards. And this is that one guy who always changes the entire game. So many teams, as we can see, they're right above boxing gym. So let's just understand and assess the situation over here. SATUL right in front of RNTX, and look at the way X Divine is running away for his dear life. He needs to take those shots, and yes, he's taking them. P90 in hand, and those shots are looking sublime. But here's the thing. The push of Sahil has been refined to perfection. We could see it in yesterday. We're seeing it now as well.
And we are going to continue to see it. They have a switcheroo on the drop points. Farmtopia totally contested by Team SHOL. They did not hop in on the grounds of Intellect Center. They wanted to make sure they land in safe. They did not end up being all solo and alone over here. And now, as soon as I talk about they're not all solo, there's going to be Revenant X-Park just around the corner. And let's see who is going to take down whom over there a little later, because Non-Stop Gaming has already built up a little bit of throwable strategy used over here. Alim trying to rush in, and that rush was not supposed to be made perfectly. Struggle took down 3 players with one single spray. What more can you expect? And he gets those 2 elimination points secured, and Cropsy with the 3rd.
Oh my god! One single spray taking down 3 players is absolutely massive. I get it, the HP was low, and this is the similar situation for Arsh as well. He has been taken down. The entire place of Farmtopia has been contested and successfully taken from the likes of SATUL, RNTX. They're prepared for something big. And in the midst of all of that, it's going to be Total Gaming coming in, joining hands with TT, Team Tycoons. This fight is not going to end good for anyone who's inside this area of Zebwe.
And over here, Team Total Gaming losing Mafia is one of the biggest challenges here. And on the course, Team SHOL, well, switching the grounds of landing did not work into their favor. And Shanky this time has turned into shatters and eliminated. 3 players still alive. And it is going to be Team Tycoons. Goku spotted. Aztec is trying to pick up fights against 2 players with AC-80 and Plasma Trogon in his hand. And is he going to make it? Or he's going to get roped in against 2 players. 1 player down, and a lot of throwables being introduced. But vending machine nearby. Before he went, I do believe he made sure to revive his teammates. Did he, though?
Yes, he did. That was a really bold move coming in. They understood that Total Gaming, they're not going to back out from this fight. And the way they have gone ahead, received all of those 6 eliminations. Look at the way the aggression is showcased from Total Gaming. This is a totally different team altogether. And I understand that aggression has been the way they've always spoken in a lobby, but this time it's like a different segment altogether. Car 98 on the other end, they're also showcasing some really nice information game here. 1 elimination secured, and Hyper right in front to go ahead and tank those damage. But I believe Nightmare, they're locking horns against Total Gaming, and this battle is not going to look good for them.
R98, and they've got the information, and what are they up to with that information right now? Delete is up to something, and what a clean shot! He took down one of the players from Nightmare Esports in a blink of an eye, and Delete will make sure to resurrect Mafia from the side of Aerobots. And here we go, Godlike finally coming to the momentum, because Major Miss probably cages back again. Nancy will be put to sleep, and there's no way this rush could have worked in their favor. They went in against 1 player, and that 1 player acting all dominant.
Where is the support? Where is the support, Godlike? It's not at all looking clean. Delete way too low of HP, and he still managed to escape from the situation. And he has gone ahead, received the elimination as well. Godlike, that was such a premature plan of rushing down the throats of Total Gaming, and now they have already banded together with all 4 players. The 1 solo survivor is looking for the vending machine, but he's going to be taken down as well. Nobita, he has been confirmed, and this entire place is in a complete lockdown. Zipway, more like no way.
Here we go, Mafia again spotted, taken down. Aztec also down on the knees, and here we go. Is he going to go fist and eliminate? Yeah, he does, but on the outside he will be spotted. Shanky! That move was good, but not good enough when you were supposed to be getting those elimination points instant. You gave away 1. It is all down to Delete. Will he head towards vending machine, or is he heading towards a revival point? Heading towards revival point is equal to bringing in more challenges. It's better to open some of the tokens, and if at all he is able to accumulate those enough, he can gradually go ahead and bring back his own teammates. 400 tokens is enough to bring 1. And which player is he deciding to go? If we talk about Team Total Gaming, they are the #1 destruction right now, and I believe if the revival happens, they are going to continue to do so, and they're not going to give any full stop, let alone full stop. There's no comma as well in the dictionary until and unless they are buried 6 feet under.
This is a mistake. This is a big mistake, completely giving the room for Total Gaming to cause more mayhem. This is not at all right. Aztec has already come back to picture and he's heading all the way to Deca Square. There's no one towards the southern region except for Nightmare. And Nightmare is no match for Total Gaming. Let's just see how well they can go ahead and analyze the situation as the players are coming back. They're banding together, but Team Tycoons, they're taking a different fight against Era Bots. So far, so good. HP way too low. Alim, he's trying to run away for his dear life. But here's the thing. Team Tycoons, they've already surrounded him with every kind of information, and look at the way he's trying to run away, but unfortunately he won't be able to do that for a longer time. For now, he's inside the compound trying to invite Amin to go ahead and take a fight, but I don't think so. Amin is going to go ahead and do that. He's waiting for his comrade, and once they band together, Alim, he's going to be taken down. What a lovely shot coming in. And Amin, and he's the man who's always been heavily relied upon. Team Tycoons, 4 eliminations, and they need more points in order to be in the first page of the entire action.
Team Tycoon surviving this fight strongly and firmly. On the course, Team Godlike also made sure to bring in 3 players, and Car 98 versus Team Genesis up against each other. It is a 2v4 situation. Genesis cannot survive this one, where throwables as well as the close range guns will be introduced up against them. Car 98 having the momentum, having a squad and throwables. Also the grenade guns will be used over here. Ayush will be spotted and taken down. No team support for Itaz, as well as one more player within the small compound. It is a 4v2 situation. One player far away and maybe surviving for revival if at all things doesn't go in the way that they decided to. Talking about other teams over here, Harsh has been spotted, and that's coming in from the side of NG, if I'm not mistaken. It is a long range shot from Manu. So Manu is aware about the existence of non-stop game. Manu is existence of Team Car 98. Blue walls will be something that brings in cover, but Rasha lost his patience. They do not want to give them more time to heal, more time to strategize, and there comes the push all the way through the blue walls. He is going to rush in. Chrono will be deployed. Is it enough? No! Genesis is put to sleep, and the leaders are going to be Car 98.
Oh my god. The kind of destruction, as we all can see. And godlike, they're always at the receiving end of this. Zipway yet again being one of the places for chaos. And it is going to be non-stop pros who are having the height advantage so far. They've eliminated one player, and I believe godlike, they're going to plug him back into the picture. Struggle height advantage looking really good alongside Badal. And if this thing happens, if this carries on for a longer time, that's how the birds are going to be clipped. All those revivals, all gone. As Alim, Hyper, they have been taken down. And Era Bots, I thought for a fact that they are going to go ahead and wreak domination in the beginning, in the upcoming maps itself. But in fact, they are at the receiving end yet again.
Talking about the receiving end, godlike, the ones who were supposed to deliver the most amount of damage are also receiving a lot of damage, losing the players, again reviving it. Right now they are trying to pick a battle against non-stop gamers. They are in form, they are in a position of upper ground, and their information has already been relayed. Now non-stop gamers are going to go ahead and take down players of godlike. Godlike have not got a good start last week, and I thought the wind might change and they bring in some different fresh air, and there's no freshness. They are being spotted over and over time and taken down every single time. The rivalry between godlike and Total Gaming right off the bat continues to do so, but on the mix, they do not have to only fight against Team Total Gaming. This time it is going to be 3 teams on the grounds of Zipway, one of which is Nightmare, a good solid performance in the previous map as well. And finally, it is going to be non-stop gamers, which is the first team to cross the triple century marker.
And not only that, the way Total Gaming has shifted the paradigm. They've taken the biggest launch pad on the portal, heading all the way towards the circle, and they're going to be contesting Car 98 real soon. I would love to see that battle coming real across the corner. And look at the way even Team Tycoons, they're trying to head towards the circle. All this time, Total Gaming, they were isolated. that one player went all the way towards Deca Square, brought back the fallen comrades, and from there on, they banded together, forming inside the circle and getting the advantage as well. This is something big. This is how you analyze the entire situation, and love the way the IGL is going ahead and calling in all of those shots. Team Tycoons, for now, going ahead and getting the majority of the circle. And look at the height advantage, which is going to give a lot of damage. And if this thing dishes out onto Car 98 army, then I believe they're going to be perishing real soon.
With the angle that Team Total Gaming has acquired for themselves, it is only the zone can take away the advantage. There's no other team who can pick the fight against them. Even if there's a knock happening, the revival will come in handy. And talking about the resources, they have ample amount of it. And look at the circle on the west side. There is a compact compound where 3 teams are going to fight up against each other. Jaunty Gaming, they made a lot of blunders in previous map by rotating, using the launch pad on the reverse direction towards the shrink. This time they are going to make sure they watch their front better and they take care of the backsides by maybe one of the sniper. That is enough to take care of. And look at Car 98. They are not peeking. They have got the awareness about the tire, about the positioning. And Autobots Esports, they are hidden for as long as possible. They do not wish to reveal their positioning. And Revenant X-Park are closing in against Team Total Gaming.
Love this.
This is going to be a clean fight between Car 98 and Revenant X-Park, and an opportunity of extra points from Team Total Gaming.
And look at the way the pawn shots have been taken. Total Gaming, they're not at all sparing every team in front of them. Bot God, little does he know the shots are going to be sublime. And he has been isolated for now. Aztec, he has been taken care of. But here's the thing, the revival is going to come in real soon. And now, looking at the circle, it's out in the open. Every single one of them has to move in towards those rocks. And that's where I believe Total Gaming is going to shine and get those shots upon them. The height always gives the advantage. As RNTX, they for sure have been taking shots against Car 98. And they're taking them down as well. 6 feet under is where they are. RNTX, look at KD God. He's been racking up those eliminations and the damage coming in his pocket.
Nightmare Esports, the moment they move out of it, they're going to be taken down. But before that, Car 98 has already been eliminated. And now this time it is going to be Godlike who are the targets for Team Total Gaming. And they are on the receiving end from 2 teams, Non-Stop Gaming as well as Team Total Gaming. The moment they jump out of it, they are going to turn into ashes.
Struggle. He's way too close to death. But he's playing it so cautiously. It's godlike. They're calling in the rotations. Yogi has already been taken care of. Alvaro being utilized. But I believe that was a big mishap coming in. Yogi, he's already been taken down from the hands of Mafia nonetheless. Godlike, they're heading towards the circle. But unfortunately, Marco has been found. Nancy has been found. And Nobita with solo HP and the circle right upon him. This is not at all looking good as Team Tycoons, they're also banding in together, eliminating that team. And now is the time where teams are going to head towards the circle. And where is it going to be? The support has been provided. Nightmare, they're on the verge of extinction. And it is Jaunty Gaming who's going to go ahead and do the deed. Close quarter fights, and Total Gaming, they need to be completely aware about their backs, and they are. Nightmare, they haven't taken control of. As I can see, Team Tycoons, they're taking it slow. They're taking shots against Autobots. What's going on here?
Over here, it is going to be Team Total Gaming picking up fight from against Team Tycoons. They have got a similar sort of strategies, but this time it is Team Total Gaming on the receiving end. Again, it's going to be Chanky, the last man surviving. But Delete will shut each and every player down with 17 eliminations on the entire team. Once again, we do spot a single player with a sniper in his hand. This time it is Mac, healing himself to the fullest possible to get those placement points of position number 2. He's going to wait for Jaunty Gaming against Team Total Gaming while the 2 teams are fighting. He's going to watch it on the biggest screen possible to get those placement points. He's not going to intervene. He's not going to even try to steal any single point, because right now survival is of the most important for him. And if at all he messes up there, or even a single pixel, he might be taken down. Total Gaming versus Jaunty Gaming. Who takes the blow? And he paved his way just about right. Nobody spotted him.
This is big. Jaunty Gaming, you have to watch your back as they're taking shots against Total Gaming. It's a really good battle being unleashed right here, right now. Electrotherapy, Kunal providing the support. Jarvis, he is itching to go ahead and take this fight. And jump peaks all across to get the information. Kunal rushes forward, and Aztec has been taken control of. Shanky on the other end, he has been deleted as well, alongside the entire team of Total Gaming. Matt being the last man standing for the likes of Autobots. He has survived for long, and now is the time for him to at least go ahead and get a finish or two. But I believe the train is already long gone, departured from the station. And Vincent, he knows the location, and look at the shots coming in from the arm. There comes the booyah. And what a lovely way for Jaunty Gaming to go ahead and showcase that controlled aggression is the way to go in the map of Nexterra.
The way they messed up about the rotations in the map of Purgatory, they made sure to redeem themselves by grabbing the sword of a booyah coming in on the map of Nexterra. But having said everything about each and every team, a good play from Jaunty Gaming, but the best play comes in from the side of Team Total Gaming. All the way from the center of the circle, they started picking up fights, and if we talk about the elimination leaders, there is nobody but Team Total Gaming, and I'm very sure of they are the ones who are going to grab the number one position. And we talked about it. Nexterra is not about the booyah baggers. It is more or less about the elimination points, and it has all been taken away by Team Total Gaming. You name a team and they are the ones. At least they might have got one single player of each and every one in the lobby.
Here's the thing, right? Total Gaming, they're playing every single thing so right. They have a smoking gun. Moreover, they have ace up their sleeve. They're always going ahead and taking those battles. They're so confident with every single confrontation that they have taken in the map of Nexterra. They have brought nothing but eliminations, and alongside to complement those eliminations, they have 8 points as well as the third position bearers. So a really good initiation coming in from their end. But Jaunty Gaming, this was a much more needed booyah from their end, and they have received it. Let's just go ahead and look at the final moments and understand the way those fights were coming in. Team Tycoons, I thought for a second that they're going to take the entire team of Total Gaming, but unfortunately they were the ones to get instantly deleted. And from there on, Total Gaming, they were on a different level altogether. But Jaunty, they were quick to retaliate, they were quick to respond, and once they headed forward, look at that. The entire place is completely isolated. It's all silence alongside celebrations as well. That yes, finally, we needed that booyah, we have bagged it. You know, so I'm still thinking about the plans that can be made in the upcoming map.
And they have to make sure they bring up the best of the map.
Ouch.
17 big elimination points, 8 placement points for sure, 25 total points, and they procure number one position following Jaunty Gaming. Sure took away the booyah, 22 points, just 3 points shy from whatever Total Gaming did. Team Tycoons tying up with Team Jaunty Gaming. Again, it is all about elimination points coming in from their ends. NG Pros, they have hit the 300 point marker, and they crossed it with total 16 points on the name. And now I've got something to talk about Revenant X-Park as well as Team SA2L. SA2L trying to procure the spot of Revenant X-Park in terms of landing. They denied their very own drop spot, and they were punished badly by Revenant X-Park, and with which they went with only 1 point on their name. But Genesis is the team that concerns me the most, because they were supposed to be the best one. They performed it yesterday so well, and they have been consistent, but something is a major miss. Godlike, where are they lost? They are not performing anywhere closer to what they have brought on the table.
Exactly. And the kind of rivalry we were expecting for or hoping from the likes of Godlike against Total Gaming, we're not able to see that. Moreover, here's the thing, right? Genesis being such a perfect underdog team, they're not able to perform. They're currently sitting with just a single digit alongside Aerobots. So something is going wrong from their end, and they need to fix it as soon as possible. Kalahari being one of the maps where we have always seen Total Gaming, NG Pros going ahead and showcasing their own gameplay, and in that map you have to perform moving forward. Else, Solara, Bermuda, Alpine, all of these maps are just going to be a big upset for them. them. So let's just see how well they can go ahead and cope with all of the situation. They need copium right now. Alongside, if you talk about Team Tycoons, they've been performing, man. They've been performing so good, consistent 32 total points. Falling right behind will be Revenant X-Spark with 31 and Nightmare. They're sharing the position. It's just that the elimination factor has been really good for X-Spark. So let's just see how well all of these teams are going to go ahead and understand what the gravity of the situation is. But talking about Kunal, he has been providing a lot of eliminations for the likes of Jaunty Gaming. 6 total eliminations using Tatsuya.
Tatsuya, Ford, Joseph, and Antonio being equipped with Alvaro with a lot of information on their name and a shotgun for the close range duel picked up by Team Jaunty Gaming. I believe Team Jaunty Gaming has done something all the way from map 1, realizing that going for the back rotation is something that is not working for them. Let's rush right in whatever we have up against us, and that is functioning right for them. And sure, we have talked about Kunal. Let's also have a look about other 3 teammates. What have they chosen for in terms of character skills? And these are the 4 players: Tatsuya, Skylar, Cassie, and Chrono. And I would like to share my bet over here. Cassie by far has been picked up. It's 44 times altogether, which doesn't come towards top 5 of the active character abilities, and Chrono being in the top 4 with total of 128 times being equipped. Oscar was a major miss. Now look at the different strategies. Rush is not their strategy. It is about team support. It is about defensive strategy, and Tatsuya does the deal in terms of aggression.
For sure. And the kind of supporter Kunal is, he's so aggressive, and at the same time, he provides a kind of support for the team as well. So overall, a very good performance coming in. It's just that Jaunty Gaming need to keep up with a similar kind of pace. They cannot go ahead and be like, you know what, let's just have a really good game and then later on just clear silence. That doesn't work. You have to constantly keep going in. Getting those points, getting those eliminations are going to be super vital. And I'm expecting that Jaunty Gaming, once they've already received their booyah, they can go ahead and capitalize upon it. As 12 points, it's always a game changer.
Well, talking about game changer, Ginotra has been one of the bomber for the team who has made sure to change the games in their direction. We still have to witness that sort of grenades from him. The moment he cooked, he definitely took away 2 to 3 opponents with him. And let's hope he's able to build that sort of play as soon as possible, because the maps are going to shrink in time. Let's have a look about the game summary on the map of Nexterra, about how much points of damage has been dealt altogether, and it is 53,263. Longest shot is going to be 132 meters, 82 eliminations, 96 knocks, and 177 total glue walls being deployed.
It was a very aggressive game. Nexterra, we could see those fights coming in zipline for so long. Every single one of them were heading to that prime spot for Mayhem. And that was a really good sign for Total Gaming. That was a really good sign for the likes of Team Tycoons as they rotated from that very end itself. And later on, as we could see, the amount of damage as well is just screaming one thing very loud and clear, that this lobby is going to be super intense. Moreover, Group C, this is the final 4 map to go ahead and perform, as the next one will be Kalahari. And we all know it is one of those maps where NG Pros alongside Total Gaming, both of these teams showcase a lot of grit in them, a lot of firepower. Total Gaming, we know them as one of the teams to go ahead and cause a lot of chaos. They run from one corner, they drop down, and from there on they keep traversing the entire map. It's like they're holding a map of Dora the Explorer and they're like, okay fine, this is one of the areas we've already explored. Now let's head to Refinery, and that's where they pick the fight and they get those eliminations. So it's just chaos, and in this chaos, I would love to see how well Group C is going to go ahead and perform.
This is the time we are going to head forward towards a short break, and we are going to see you on the other side with the map of Kalahari. So stay tuned and bring in your snacks and drinks.
Well, the first two maps have already been a really good one. One for the likes of Car 98 and second for the likes of Jaunty Gaming. The day has started with a banger for them, but now comes the part where I can say Kalahari is going to be a tomb for multiple teams as NG Pros alongside TG Total Gaming. Both of them are going to perform so good. Tanya, what do you think will happen in this map?
Well, talking about this particular map, Total Gaming, one of the most comfortable team on the grounds of Kalahari, and talking about the
Very.
snipers, they are just very comfortable using snipers. We did spot Mafia several times taking some good close range shots with a sniper. So now having Kalahari, I do believe that they stand a strong chance. But I have to talk about one team which belongs to Group C, and it is their last stretch with total of 4 more maps remaining. Team SATUL had a strong day yesterday. Started off very strongly, but talking about this particular map of Purgatory, they went in with only 1 point on their name. So I do believe they should not go for the switch on the landing points.
But here's another thing, right? The talk of the town has to be NG Pros. Well, they've already hit the 300 marker. Congratulations, first off, for being the first ever team to reach 300. And from there on, they're already showcasing such good gameplays. Yes, they have been suppressed on the likes of Group A. They're not that confident. But from here on, I believe the confidence is going to be showcased in their gameplay as they're heading all the way towards the sand dunes of Kalahari. And Kalahari being one of the places where they opened up so well, getting such a big game, massive one with the likes of eliminations alongside. We all know once you receive the booyah, you get those 12 points. So let's just go ahead and see how this Kalahari is going to treat all of these snipers.
Well, Car 98 grabbing the grounds of Council Hall. Nobody sharing the grounds. Jaunty Gaming going for the split of 1:3. Shrines to be owned by Autobots over here and Refinery. The owners of Refinery are going to be godlike. So they are going to be the richest one right now, because you sure know the oils are pretty expensive over here. And Team Tycoons, they are safe on the grounds of Maze. Genesis as well. They need to make sure they buckle up because they were strong yesterday. They have to bring in whatever the best that they have with some limited maps remaining. Mammoth to be owned by Aerobot, Stonebridge, Revenant X-Park, and SHUL is ready to pick up fights on the grounds of Command Post Sahil nearby. And talking about Sahil, there is one point that I would want to share with the audience. He is the man who has reached to the most, who has acquired the #1 position where the most distance shot is acquired by him, which is 312 meters, and nobody is as close to him. The second one comes in from Car 98, which is Harsh. Then comes Manu, then comes Anubhav and Hitman. But Sahil has broken all the records in terms of longest shot range.
Let's just see whether someone can go ahead and replicate that performance, or it's going to be Sahil to go ahead and keep that title to himself. The performance has been sublime from the likes of RNTX, and now's the time where these last few maps which are left for the likes of Group C has to be performed very well. So understanding the assignment is already there, but going ahead and following up to the path of receiving those elimination points alongside the numbers are going to be something that they need to crunch real soon. The rotations, so far, nobody has taken a drop clash. Not a single shot being fired in the air. So everyone is trying to keep that momentum to themselves, and I could see a player from the likes of RNTX trying to go ahead and adjust the camera. Thank you so much. We need the bird eye view.
Here we go.
What?
As soon as you talk about silence, there comes the action. It is going to be Team Tycoons very strong today, and Team Godlike extremely shaky today. We did see some head-to-head comparison. They are not putting up to the best of the marks. Chrono will be deployed and no damages will be delivered. And Nancy will be revived by Nobita. Will be using a glue wall for the cover. And here comes the push. Grapple guns already involved. And look at Nightmare Esports. They are also trying to get into the mix and picking up some extra shots. Get some elimination points on their name. With the UAV already being deployed, all the information has been relayed, and all three teams are aware about their existence. And here we go. Car 98 get the first elimination point.
That's right, Nobita yet again being knocked. And Team Tycoons, they need to be aware of this flank. It's a big one coming in from Nightmare. And it's one of the most understanding situation as they need those points. They have to embark the journey of comeback, and they have done so good so far. Team Tycoons on the very end gets 3 eliminations, and this is big. Car 98, they've also opened up, and really nice eliminations coming in. 5 fists for now, he has been taken care of. Team Tycoons, well. They already have a possession of the vending machine, and I believe they would love to keep it till the very end. Nightmare right on top, the height advantage. But the information that Team Tycoons have already left, I don't think so. They have that.
Now it's all about Council Hall. They got 2 elimination points on the name, and Team Godlike, they lost 3 players. Who took them away? Well, we did not get to witness that exactly. Godlike will make sure to revive their teammates in UAV, again relaying the information. It is going to be our Revenant X-Spark against Team Genesis against each other. It's going to be the broken compounds and not much
lovely.
of a cover with. KD God is spotted by
Ayush.
Ayush with AC-80, and he's going to get the confirmation. And KD God is no more right now, but sure, he will be resurrected real soon. 3 players, it's a 3v4 situation where the cover fire comes in very strong from the side of Genesis, and here comes the
That's
jump,
a big
and
mistake.
this was not supposed to be done.
That's a big mistake. Big shots coming through, and Genesis, they're opening every single thing up. RNTX, they're not able to survive for a longer time. Tiva was utilized, but for what? Could not go ahead and convert the entire situation. Revenant X-Spark, final moments, they did plug in a player or 2. And that's where they're standing tall. They're surviving this one. It was a big loss, but Genesis, what a way to go ahead and capitalize. Good initiation, and close quarter is where I would say Ayush just opened up really nice. The confirmation was imminent, and from there on, the team gained the kind of confidence that they needed. Stone Ridge still contested by the likes of Genesis, and the others slowly they're making their way towards Refinery.
The glue wall is not going to bring in the best cover for Team Godlike. One of the players again down on the
Marco.
knees. Sure, Marco will be revived, and still it's 6 minutes down the timer, and Yugi will be spotted on the verge of using the launch pad. He will be put to sleep in a blink of an eye. Sure, revival will come in handy, but lost a lot of resources. Talking about resources, your
done
Team
for.
Tycoons is losing a lot of players already, and this was a nightmare. Team SHL giving up a good tough time to Team Tycoons.
And Team Tycoons, the last man standing. The Brat is still alive. Hitman, he's gonna plug back all of those players into the picture, and Alib, he's in the crosshair of Arjun. And I believe for a fact that Arjun, he wants to go ahead and stand true to his name, but close quarter battle is not looking good. As Aerobots, they're decimating Nightmare left, back, and center. Really nice control, and now hitting the cruise button. Radhe Thakur thought that he could at least get a player or 2, but unfortunately there is going to be no retaliation whatsoever from their corner. 300 credits all dropped for the players to be revived back in.
No credits for the side of Team Nightmare Esports furthermore, so they have to make sure either they go ahead, grab some tokens, and then pick up a fight, so they still have a room of opportunity to bring in. But look at Kunal, he shut down Marco again against Godlike. The refinery is turning into ashes and burning very badly. Here we go, Hyper will manage to escape with the launch pad, and Radhe Thakur missing those shots from AC-80. Now that comes out of expectations. That was not supposed to happen, and then as soon as the launch pad's distance is covered, he uses the grapple gun and runs out of sight for the survival. And he knows this is the game of survivors, and the fight between Genesis again rises. This time the opponents are going to be Team Tycoons.
Already shaky with confidence, Team Tycoons. They have to somehow go ahead and get those elimination points, and that's how they can at least take a fight against Genesis. But Genesis on the other end, good grappling hook being utilized, flank angle completely nullified, and Ayush, she's checking those corners, hoping that the opponents are going to be here, but unfortunately they are planning something more devious. They're heading towards the circle, it's very close. And Gopu OP, he's keeping a bird's eye view onto what kind of rotation Genesis is bringing into the picture. Team Tycoon, so far, they're ready for the action. But Genesis, they're still making sure that every single compound is completely cleared and nobody is there to backstab them.
After all, nobody is there to backstab them,
There
but
you
they have
go.
to take care of the fronts, and they are taking it very clearly. Team Tycoons. The player was knocked, and Ayush is going to
Ayush?
rush in with the shotgun. And is he going to succeed? That's going to be the primary question over here. Glue wall melters will be used over here. Mini launch pads, and they are trying to evacuate the position of Stone Ridge, and they will manage to escape
Lovely.
easily. Ayush will not be able to cover that sort of a fight, which is out of syllabus. Nobody expected that Team
NG.
Tycoons are going to move out, but NG Pros are going to enter the grounds of Stone Ridge.
Oh, that's right. But Junior, those shots should have been much better. One headshot to connect and Struggle would have been put down to sleep. But unfortunately, Genesis, this can be a demise for them. But wait a second, Ayush, every single spot, he's so aggressive onto getting the information. The grappling hook utilized to perfection as he's still heading forward. But Zoeb, he could not do much there. The flank angle completely nullified. And right now, Genesis in tatters. They're still thinking what needs to be done. Either aggress forward or just retreat or head away from the situation. I can already see Dazo far away and he's trying to provide the support. But for how long can he do that? As NG Pros, they're showcasing why they're the most feared team in the map of Kalahari. And Itazo, he has been taken care of. Ayush, backstab could not be perfect as he also has been fed down to the elimination counter.
And 3 elimination points on the name of Non-Stop Gamers. They are living their name. They are continuously going ahead, bringing the best game for themselves, and they are not stopping anytime closer. 300 marker is not their target score. I believe they have dreamt of way much more, and they are looking forward to achieve much more. Looking at SHL's positions, they are all looking on the side of Team Jaunty Gaming, but look at Mysterious position, and he's all solo. I don't think he's going to bring in any sort of presence. If at all he makes that mistake, he might be eliminated. And natural airdrop will also hop in real time. And here comes Nightmare Esports versus one of the players of who was trying to spot SHL will be eliminated, and that sort of an open positioning is punishable, and he was punished for the same.
Aleem, not a good sight. Chrono Shield deployed just to go ahead and call in the rotation. The launch pad was looking good, but Shyam has been taken care of. ARZ, they thought that they could do something better, but unfortunately every single thing is falling apart for them. As Jaunty Gaming, they have kept the kind of aggression since the previous game constant in Kalahari as well. This can be any team's game, and it all depends upon how well they take those early clashes and get those elimination points. Esetiol on the other end, 4 eliminations strong. They are looking as solid as a rock. And look at that, height advantage. They have even monster truck to land down without taking any fall damage. That's right. The kind of brains that they're utilizing, I believe this is going to go to endgame.
And talking about the game right now, all I have to say is it's already almost 12 minutes down and not even a single team elimination. They're also trying to secure the monster truck using the heals. And look at Nightmare Esports. They are one of the late rotators, and they might bring in some sort of punishment for Team Jaunty Gaming. Let's see whom are they going to be punishing. But right now, the team that is punished is Team Godlike. Yogi again down on the knees, and Mafia also. Mafia will be revived and will be supported with his team, with the teammates as soon as possible. The circle will be of Stone Ridge, where Team Non-Stop Gamers and Team Total Gamings are going to be up against each other, and Playzone will take down Team Autobots. The late rotation definitely did not work good for them.
It was their own melter. It was their own glue wall mentor. And I completely understand that in the map of Kalahari, most of the time you are provided with the cover, you are provided with the support. But these glue walls are going to be a game changer when it comes to the final circle. Jaunty Gaming, what a lovely way to hop down like a pelican and gain the access to one of the best places inside the circle. But I believe the entire journey is going to be even more gut-wrenching. Godlike, they're right inside the circle, but they need to take a fight against Non-Stop Pros to go ahead and claim the entire territory theirs. Melters being deployed, and Anubhav, he is keeping tabs on all of the players of Godlike.
Godlike still trying to play as slow as possible because they know they have had a tough start and they want to make sure they bring in tough position for the other side and not for themselves. Getting in the cover of the ridges right now. Non-stop gamers just above them. Team Total Gaming, they've got the information, and here comes Team SHUN trying to rush in, and they are turning into the ashes. Arch will be the man who is standing right now fighting against Revenant X Spark. And right now, talking about the rivalry, I have spotted Team Revenant X Spark versus SHUN over and over time. Sahil down on the knees. There's no revival coming in handy. As soon as I say that, KD God will hop in, and there's no position where he will be revived. Throwables will also be introduced. Lewis also going down with the shrink. Now he will be eliminated. Sahil also spotted, taken down, and Arsh will be the last man standing. It is a 1v2 situation. Will he make it, or will the team SHUN break down? And he's using the heals, and nothing is going to work. The team SHUN will go down the drain, and same for Team Revenant X Spark, but this time it is going to be Team NG Pros taking them down.
SHUL eliminated. That one person was doing God's work. But unfortunately, the man count disadvantage is always gonna sting as teams. They are planning something different. Godlike, close quarter, Total Gaming right in front. This rivalry will never end. Total Gaming right now with the banners uplifted in the form of blue walls is gonna showcase that they're heading towards the circle. And look at that. This is one player lurking. And I believe he wants to stay alive for a longer time. Autobots, what can they do? As NG Pros, they thought that they're going to be safe outside, but unfortunately it is going to be Total Gaming who have the circle advantage. Nonetheless, alongside Godlike.
Godlike finally spotted in top 4. They're not early eliminated. Team Total Gaming into a wooden compound, and they are into the upper grounds of the wooden compound, looking safe. But look at Non-Stop Gaming. They are trying to disturb all the existence of Team Godlike, and here comes the push. Blue wall melters, throwables from both the sides, and they are the targets for two teams, Team Total Gaming as well as Team Non-Stop Gaming. Will they be able to survive across the fence? They are covered very strongly. Throwables will not stop even for a single center. Second, and blue wall melters being distributed very nicely on the course. Team Nightmare Esports will be eliminated, but what about Godlike? They are still surviving strong, and Non-Stop Gamers have switched. They are not picking up fight against Godlike anymore. They are looking about the more information against Team Total Gaming on the course. They are going to make sure to give away ice bombs, and they delivered a little bit of damage there. It's a fight of equals, 4v4v4.
Fight of equals for sure. And I believe this man count will dwindle real soon. Total Gaming, they have to head towards the circle. They're the first ones to move in. But I love the way Non-Stop Pros have already positioned themselves. And this feels like a really nice initiation. But unfortunately, Total Gaming, they have been taken care of. Copsy just heading forward. Goes in for the Tatsuya dash. And he's just going ahead and making waves. Copsy, he thought that he could do something better. He has been knocked. An instant revival has come through. But Total Gaming, in the midst of all of that, they have been taken care of. It's the fight against a couple of teams left now. Godlike, the number count is already long gone. And NG Pros, they are showcasing why they're the best in the map of Kalahari, as Marco, he could not find his polo yet again.
And here comes the Booyah, and that is going to be very strong enough from the side of NG Pros. Struggle, Manu, Anubhav and Crops. Sure, they decided to change their enemies for a while. They shut down Team Total Gaming, and in a blink of a second where Godlike tried to eradicate them, they were the ones to shut them off too by taking away the Booyah. Talking about the predictions, we had Team Total Gaming, Godlike and Non-Stop Gamers predicted, and they were in the top 3. What else on the better side can I expect in terms of prediction? Non-Stop Gamers, they are not stopping any real time soon, and they are getting us out of breath, out of words, every single map in a different manner.
Lovely performance coming from there, and they knew this is the time to go ahead and shine against 3 big teams. They've taken such good fights, and then later on winning it all thanks to the positional advantage. First they got the height advantage, later on they even understood the entire grappling situation of Total Gaming as well. From there on, Total Gaming toppled like a dominoes, and yes, for the fact of Godlike, they thought that they're going to be so safe, so secure in a tent, but unfortunately that tent went through a lot of chaos. overall a lovely performance coming in, and finally coming in towards the top 3 was vital, was important. They made that possible. And yes, NG Pros, they're bagging another booyah, and this kind of performance is always going to set them away. And this is like the fight for the number 1 position. And if they carry on with a similar kind of pace in the upcoming 3 maps as well, then I believe nobody can touch them towards the top 2 spots.
Well, talking about nobody can touch them, I do believe that right now also they are pretty untouchable. And let's also have a look upon the final shot that they took against not only Team Total Gaming, but also against Team Godlike. Team Total Gaming deciding to pick up the fight by using some grapple guns and jumping on their faces, which was a punishable offense, as Team Nonstop Gaming played a switcheroo of change of opponents over there. And then comes the Last Man Mafia trying to procure the survivor, all the support that was necessary. And then Team Godlike over here, they were turned into ashes in a blink of an eye, where Non-Stop Gaming took away total of 15 points. And a booyah struggle, proving it nobody can stand strong against us. It was a good expression though.
Yeah, he's all happy. Nobody can take a fight against us. That's what he's trying to say. Moreover, I would say the way they have been performing, I believe, yes, they are fighting for the top 2 spots itself. Good amount of difference between NG Pros and Total Gaming. Total Gaming, all thanks to the amount of eliminations that they have racked up alongside the placement points, things have looked really good for them. But talking about Era Bots, they have total 15 points, all thanks to the early ruckus that they created with 9 total eliminations. So yes, the performance is coming through, and Autobots, they did make their way all the way towards the final 4 spot, but still they could not land in that booyah. So the man count disadvantage always stings in the final section.
Well, talking about the final section, we also need to see who grabbed the MVP title from the team NG Pros, who bagged a strong booyah with 27 points on their name. And that's going to be Struggle this time, and thus that sort of expression. He used Chrono and Thiva for the early revival, and then comes Ford and for EP as well. They have taken care of with the character passive ability, 7 eliminations on his name and 2,577 damage and 2 assists. Talking about the pet, this has been the favorite pet of each and every player right now. Very rarely do we see any other pet coming into the action, and ACAT being his favorite weapon, and it has dealt the most amount of damage by far.
True that, and let's just go ahead and take a look about the composition of the entire team as well. Nonstop Pros, what they do better in the map of Kalahari is because of this. Tatsuya, Oscar, of course, for going ahead for the close quarter battle. Skylar from far range going ahead and using the Riptide rhythm to devastate every single glue wall which comes in front of them, alongside Chrono. Well, a really good defensive maneuver coming in from the likes of Struggle. So the support has been provided. The rush gameplay has been picture perfect. And there's only one person missing, that is a Grenadier, but all of that has been taken care of. Wow,
and here comes the
damage
stats. And the only word that comes in, that is WOW, just wow performance. And 7 eliminations. Sure, we talked about Struggle, but let's also talk about Cropsy with only 2 eliminations. But look at the amount of damage that he has delivered, 1,872. It doesn't matter if he took eliminations or no, but the way he destructed the opponent's existence is more than enough. And then comes Manu, 3 elimination points on his name, and also Anubhav will get 3 elimination points. Everybody is dealing almost good amount of damage, and that is exactly what the entire team is working upon. That it is not only about procuring a booyah, but you have to prove your existence by delivering a lot of damage that any team coming nearby has to have a fear. Do we pick up fight against them? There should be a question mark, and launch pads are always handy. You can move out of sight.
Not only that, the grappling hooks provide the kind of maneuvers that the team are expecting and looking forward as well. The rushers, the way they were repositioning again and again, the flank angle was absolutely amazing. But the upcoming map is going to be equally important for teams to go ahead and showcase something better. Solara being the upcoming map. For now, we're going to take a small little break. We're going to see you on the other side.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to TEZ FFMIC India Cup 2025. Joining me for the next few games is gonna be Arka. My name is Crips, and this is a pretty good day for all Free Fire Max fans because the fights have been super intense today. And that is quite visible because almost every battle that we've seen so far has like a 4v4 or a 3v4 final battle with at least one person from a third team staying alive, and that has been the pattern for the first 3 games today.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more thing is that we are seeing the new defaults being taking place because Kalahari, usually we see the Total Gaming are the dominators in that map, and now we are able to see that they were being restricted, and we have NG Pros coming up, the new winners. So I somewhere strongly feel that this week, where we thought that it's going to be the week of comebacks, is going to stand true for itself.
Yeah, and while we do believe in comebacks, I also believe in these particular teams. That's exactly why I have chosen them as my predicted teams for the map of Solara. I obviously think that Team Tycoons... so both of us think Team Tycoons are going to do well. That's quite nice. That's a virtual high five for you, my friend. But I want to know why you've chosen Jaunty Gaming, because Team Tycoons and Non-Stop Pros, I think we've kind of agreed on that. Why would you think Jaunty Gaming does well in Solara?
You know, it's more of like Jaunty Gaming have been questioned, you know, game after game, because they are also one of those teams who are capable of having really good firepower, but it seems like they're failing a little bit. They have to prove themselves to the audience that they are one of those teams who are capable of being in the top 3 in the overall standing. So for that reason, since the firecracker has been lit right now, I just want to see them go explode.
Interesting. I chose Aerobots only for this particular map because they already have a Booyah on it, and they've got like a total of 40 points on this map.
Yeah.
I wouldn't generally pick a team like them, but because it is Solara and because I wanted to take a risk, I thought maybe we can try putting their name in. Let's see how they fare, because so far they do need our support. They do need a lot of points if they want to get towards the class squad mode, and there's only 3 games to go for it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start the 4th game of the day. We are gonna jump into Solara, and all these teams have quite a lot riding on this particular game. For the teams of Group C in particular, this will be their last day of week 2, so they better make it count.
Absolutely, the flight path is also going to favor all these teams. Sats is dissecting the map to 2 equal halves, and we are able to see that no team is interested to go in for a drop clash, at least until so far. But we can see that 2 teams are going way close to one another in the name of SATL as well as Aerobots, and it seems like they could be the first point of contact or the early skirmish which we can expect towards the Casa Vista region. And the circle is also going to favor them to take those risks, as they do have the circle. For now, Aerobots, they just move away from that position. An interesting one, if you ask me, because I was expecting Aerobots to pick up those fights, because every single time, like previously also with your predictions where Aerobots did well, they were being a little bit aggressive.
Yeah, but this is a little too weird even for my taste. Like, I knew Aerobots are a decent team on Solara, but take a look at this. They've gone for a 3-1 split. Sham OP is in Funfair alone, but the rest of his team is in Aquarium. But then again, he's alone here with another member, a solo from Team Tycoons, and that's Hitman. He surprises him. Hitman really thought there was nobody in this entire area. He thought that Funfair in its entirety was clear, which makes sense. He didn't see anybody land over here, and there's just one guy who's coming with you, so he kind of ignored him. So that's a free knock for Sham. He draws first blood and gives his team the first point. Not to worry, because the remainder of Team Tycoons are spread out across Riders Club, so they can easily revive him with a vending machine of their own.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is gonna kind of make Team Tycoons angry, because they do not like to be the first casualty takers in a map. And every single time we have seen them not get a good start, they retaliate really well. Whereas Autobots on the other side, they're going in for a close range battle, as Marvel trying to do his best with that Woodpecker will be missing a lot of shots, and due to which he's going to be punished for it. For Autobots, it seems like they have got the right kind of a rhythm, as it's going to be the next man standing. Lickett is also going to fall down. I was not expecting SATL to fall so early, and it seems like they're on the verge of extinction.
Yeah, and Arsh really needs to get out of here. He needs to get the hell away, dodge all those bullets. Hopefully that car doesn't give up on him.
Well, it seems like he's gonna be safe for now. Courtesy of Autobots not being able to pursue him on that vehicle. Definitely can't pursue him on foot, but maybe the slide tracks will tell a different story. They lead him away from the remaining members of Autobots and straight into the crosshairs of Aerobots. Uh-oh. Shamopi, you know he's alone over here. He still gets a knock. Can he confirm the finish on the Fire Fist? Yes, he can. So he will die, but that's after he gets one more free elimination.
No, I like this clever gameplay. Aerobots, you know, the one thing they did was leave a person towards that vending machine because they know the early point of skirmish. And this is what happens when you do your homeworks right. Before we speak further, NMR, they're in deep troubles as well. Kid, the last man standing, and the flag bearer for the team will now have to find the nearest vending machine. And that's going to be his top priority. And coming back to what we were speaking, Aerobots, it seems like they've done their homework right. They know the early skirmish should take place in this position. And so what do? They send one of the best player to the nearest vending machine so that when given a chance, when they come in for the revival, he can pick up some eliminations.
Yeah, and that works just well for them. But I can't really say the same working in favor of Nightmare Esports because Kid 26 almost made it to cover. But he was almost shot down as well. The snipers, the grenades, everything is just blowing up around him. And he's so close to the vending machine. He doesn't have any glue walls though, so he's going to have to pluck them into the open. And he's getting shot! No! He gets shot down before he can do anything. Shake responsible for his demise. And that's the end of Nightmare Esports. Man, if he had just one glue wall, probably he would have had one extra second to get his teammates back up online.
I mean, I feel that, you know, he could have hidden behind the compound, taken some time, re-strategized, tried to find a position from where the opponents don't have a crosshair on him. But it seems like, I mean, he went out in the open. He could have come in from behind the building, from the left, could have gone behind the compounds. It's all about reading the topography, right? In the heat of the moment, once you do not understand the textbook basics, you don't know the topography, you might end up giving away your elimination.
Yeah, unfortunately, he doesn't just give up his life, but his entire team's life. With only 3 eliminations to their name, this is a pretty lackluster game for Nightmare Esports. The birds have their wings clipped. These blackbirds will have to wait a little bit before they can start soaring. But guess what else I'm starting to see right now, Arca? It could be the Clash of the Titans. It could be Godlike versus Total Gaming. Now, keep in mind, none of these teams really need to pick up a fight over here. This is way too risky if the full commit to this battle. Because Total Gaming were just on their way inside. They were just going inbound to the circle. They have no reason to continue fighting. But they might just lock horns. Meanwhile, Aerobots, on the other hand, these guys really need to get into a fight. And Genesis Esports are gonna be in the perfect place to be gate-kept. And Aerobots can farm their finishes on them.
Now it's important for Aerobots to maintain this momentum. We have been speaking about this. Aerobots and Autobots, they've read this map well. They also know that sometimes it's all about survival because they've got that early eliminations. We did see Total Gaming do the same thing in the previous game. But for now, NG Pros versus Jaunty Gaming. 2 of our predictions head on in a frontal battle. Ginotra is going to be using that grenade launcher to perfection. He's going to strike fear in the opponent's heart, and now he has the chance to regroup. But before the Chrono Shield comes in, Corpse comes from the above. Make sure he lands a shot, and it seems like another player is going to be in trouble. In case he connects this shot, then story can be a little bit different. Yes, Ginotra, he's going to be confirmed and immediately call back, but Corpse, he's going to be traded off as well.
My goodness, Ginotra really needs to get on the ground quickly because his teammates need that help. Anubhav thought there was one more person near the vending machine, but there's not. Struggle finds Kunal. Anubhav finds Jarvis. Both these players have won their 2v2 battle in this particular vending machine room in TV Tower. And that puts NG Pros up at 4 eliminations, and they now have control over the entirety of TV Tower. That's pretty nice. I'm sure that Jaunty Gaming can still lick their wounds and come up strong. The remaining members of Jaunty Gaming are currently in Bayside. Kunal has just been revived in Aquarium, so they're kind of outside the zone right now. But it's still fine. They can still make it in, and it's only like the first zone, so they can tank a little bit of the blue zone damage. No biggie. Godlike and Total Gaming continue to take pot shots against each other. Long-range pot shots. And if anyone gets like 2 or 3 knocks, then maybe you can send it in via the slide tracks as well. But yeah, with everyone using Tiva, that is highly unlikely. Like, getting a knock is just not enough to full send a scene.
I mean, this fight between Godlike and TG is all about who's gonna hold the center of the circle. Because the success for these two teams has always been the priority of the circle, and after which they can showcase their true talent of picking up eliminations as well. Now, for some other teams like Team Tycoons who need to perform, for the very reason that, you know, they have a lot of expectations over their shoulder. Because this is one of those teams which seem like unstoppable when it comes to a 4v4 battle. In the previous scrims as well, we have watched them closely. And now in the overall standing, they do want to leave a mark, make sure these young bloods do have that top 8 in the overall standing to make it into the Clash Squad mode.
Oh yes, the Clash Squad mode. Extra 20 lakh rupees prize pool up for grabs. And in order to get that, they need to be in the top 8. For groups A and B, they still have an opportunity tomorrow. But for teams of group C, this is their last chance. They need to pad up their stats, get high enough in the overall standings, maybe in the top 3. So that tomorrow when you're not playing and the teams who are playing will overtake you, you still have a big enough buffer to get inside and stay inside that top 8. We are approaching the mid game, just a little bit of lull in the action as all the teams start to take their positions now. Not too many gatekeeping opportunities for everyone since there's plenty of room in this lobby.
Yep.
And that's going to bring everything to a bit of a standstill. So now it's going to also come down to resource conservation and getting as much loot as possible so that you can have enough for the end game. Aerobots though slid into this little station where Genesis was already waiting for them, and this could be trouble. Zohaib, Ayush both already out. Junior and Atazo have to cut out of there.
ETA trying to do his best to defend this vicinity. He's going to go in for the revival, gets it through as well, but ETA gets taken down. Zohaib on the other side, since there has been a fair trade coming in, immediately revives his teammate as well, and this is what Tiva does when you have it and you use it well. Both these players are going to have a bit of a breather as they can now re-strategize, but all thanks to, you know, Junior from a distance who was able to give the right kind of backup. But before we could complete our sentence, Aerobots gets eliminated, and they're going to be punished for being a little over-aggressive as they did not watch out for their backlines, and non-stop gaming with that high ground advantage added on to their misery.
And this misery just continues onwards, making them weaker even more. Not exactly a good start for Aerobots. They've won their initial few battles, but now having to relinquish this game this early, not exactly ideal. Kar98 versus Team Tycoons. This could be quite interesting because Kar98 have just a tiny bit of that compound which is still in the zone. And Team Tycoons, while they can avoid this battle and go towards the right-hand side, they definitely want this compound for themselves. It makes it so much easier to rotate around, especially with that access to slide track. So now they go in, flying through. Flash lands first towards the bottom alongside his teammate Gopu OP. They both climb up the stairs. Bot God dashes below the stairs, hoping to break their ankles, but Flash gets downed. Harsh, also on his knees, might just get res, and Soul sticks him back up, brings him back to his feet. The Riptide rhythm forces them to go under. Gopu has an angle, but he's missing his shots. He connects once again. A second one by Gopu. That's 2 knocks, and Gopu wipes the floor with them. Sheesh!
What a gameplay coming in from the side of Team Tycoon. Gopu, a 1v3 and an exceptional one. Whereas on the other side, another sad news erupts as Jaunty Gaming have been eliminated from the lobby. Total Gaming for now, they're going to be targeted hard by the side of RNTX. Luis, they understood now they've cornered the opponents, and now he's trying to rush in over here with that P90. Can he connect some shots? Yes, glue wall melters to give an open window for themselves, but Godlike on the other side, it seems like they could be the blessing in disguise for the side of Total Gaming as they're trying to take those spot shots against the side of RNTX. Eventually they're going to fall back to heal themselves, and now Total Gaming, they can come in with a new strategy altogether.
Total Gaming, they've used their Steffi's Graffiti Blessing just to make sure that the nades don't really harm them. But they know that there's a team right underneath them. And the moment these glue walls break, the moment the zone shifts and these teams are forced to leave this compound and move ahead, that's when things will get even worse for them. So Total Gaming need to get at least a couple of eliminations right now, so that eventually when they're forced to move out, they don't have to fight a 4v4 battle. Things are slightly easier for them. That being said, it's not easy to get these eliminations. Now that the graffiti blessing is done, and it can't be used again for at least half a minute more, the nades will start coming in. And Revenant Xbox, you can see those nade hit markers. They know they're dealing damage, but they just can't get any confirmations. And now as the buzzers have started to ring, these teams will force to relinquish their compound and move ahead. I believe in this kind of a situation, nobody is the victor because the zone is way out in the open and not one single team is in it yet.
Oh, you read my mind, Cribs, because this circle is now going to challenge each and every team. And I know that the team who's going to have the higher grounds are now having a greater advantage. Mafia on the other side in the open, trying to take some pot shots and delete. He gives the right kind of backup. Now the rush is going to be inevitable. The Tatsuya dash comes in, but delete changes his position, does the damage against the side of RNT. One more player still standing, a 1v1 situation. Can he do something special over here? That's not going to be the case, because Godlike from a distance is going to put the final nail in the coffin. And Total Gaming, they're going to be walking out with nobody to breathe. But for now, NG Pros, they take advantage. And now they're giving Godlike the taste of their own medicine.
And this medicine does not taste really nice. NG Pros just showing them how bitter reality can really be. And Godlike Esports will have to make peace with that truth, make peace with that reality. Nancy hoping for a peaceful situation, but NG Pros are going out of their way to hunt him down. They could have gone directly to the zone, but no, they really want to get him out. And the mid-air shot puts him out of his misery. And they've also taken shots onto Amin from Team Tycoon, so NG Pros are not going to let this high ground advantage go to waste.
Team Tycoons, all four-man nailed and healthy. The center of the circle as well. A bit of a, low ground, but they've got a hard cover to work things around with. Revenant X Park, they know that this is the situation they need to conquer with just 2 men standing still, pressurizing the side of TTs. A vehicle comes out in the open, as Non-Stop Gaming is now trying to restrict SA2L from getting inside the circle, taking advantage of this situation on above. Needs to be careful. Marvel gets taken down. Bit of a support coming in from the other side as well, with those grenades being tossed in, perfectly being used. It's got to be Corpse rushing in, making sure that Anubhav is also going to land that final shot. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, SA2L also gets eliminated. With this, we have 3 final teams. 1 man from the side of Revenant X Park. He also says goodbye from the lobby. And now 2 big bulls are going to lock horns as Struggle is going to be leading this fight.
Struggle activates the time turner as soon as he lands, but Cropsy, the top fragger of this entire lobby, is out of the picture. He's down on his knees. Amin trying to finish Struggle off inside that Chrono Shield, but Team Tycoons make short work of NG Pros. It's all up to Manu. With the world against him in a 1v4, the odds might just overwhelm him. And even though this is a losing battle, Team Tycoons will retain their honor as they go and win this Booyah with a well-fought battle. Great stuff by NG Pros as well, but unfortunately, that high ground advantage means nothing when they're up against the Tycoons.
Oh, Team Tycoons, they have to say, kind of thank NG Pros, because they eliminated 2 of the strongest teams in that lobby who had a very, very good view against the side of Team Tycoons. Nevertheless, the overall standing will now have a bit of a switcheroo for sure, because Team Tycoons slowly catching up that momentum. In every single game, we're able to see that they're able to find an average for themselves. But sad part is how Total Gaming got taken down. There was a moment for one single player to outshine the others, especially RNTX, but Godlike from the backlines, so much intrigued from the beginning to take down the side of Team Total Gaming, forgot that they could also be shot at from a different angle than NG Pros. They struck so hard that they could eliminate both these teams.
Exactly. NG Pros was like that big hammer, which when gets wielded by anyone capable enough to wield that, it's gonna hit everyone in the vicinity. It's like AoE damage, you can't escape it. And when NG Pro started to strike, all the teams were crumbling. And you know what? I really like the line where you said that Team Tycoons will thank them for eliminating all the big bullies in the lobby. Team Tycoons basically piggyback off of NG Pro's momentum, and because nobody is focusing on Team Tycoons, while you have Godlike, Total Gaming and Revenant X Park beating each other up and NG Pros beating all of them at once, Team Tycoons are just chilling there with their arms behind their back and a bucket of popcorn watching all of this. Of course, not all of them are eating popcorn. The snipers and the people who have the ARs will still try to steal a couple of finishes away from the other stragglers. But overall, they found themselves a lovely situation. Let's take a look at the final moments of this battle once again to see how it all unfolded.
I mean, NG Pros, there was no necessity for them to come into the center of this fight. You know, I know that one player comes in with a time turner and they were expecting way too much because of that chrono shield, and due to which they had to pay a very hefty price. And Team Tycoon, since all four of them were sticking together, all they did was, you know, welcome them with open arms, with a pour of bullets. And look at that. Look at the happiness on their face. They're like, you know what? All we did was just hold on to our grounds, and yes, this could be the moment for us to pick up that momentum. All youngsters, young bloods, and that is why I feel this is going to be tomorrow's representation on the national level.
Yep, and at the national level, these NG Pro players will definitely wow everybody.
I mean, NG Pros, 25 points in total with 16 eliminations, is just going to outshine Team Tycoons, who just walked away with that booyah. 23 points with just 11 eliminations, and 4 of which was given by NG Pros in the final moments. Otherwise, Revenant X-Park, they were also looking pretty much promising when they were, you know, taking down the side of Total Gaming. But at the very bottom of the table is where we're going to look at disappointments. Jaunty Gaming, Nightmare, Car 98, Total Gaming, S8UL, Aerobots, those teams who are kind of like the watch out teams for this map of Solara are in the very bottom. That means the comeback story is starting to get much more real.
And this comeback story has reality written all over it. Dreams will definitely be fulfilled. Let's take a look at the overall standings for today. NG Pros lead the charts with 81. Well above Team Tycoons and Total Gaming.
Yep. And I do believe that NG Pros are still trying to, you know, make that gap much bigger, because they know that they want to hold the top of the table by the end of this week. And not only that, they want to qualify into the Clash Squad being the most strongest team in this lobby, and that is why they're just raking up points after points. And the primary objective is the eliminations, and they're not at all bothered about those placement points, whereas Team Tycoons on the other side still trying to, you know, strike a balance between those placement points and eliminations. Will have to look forward for more booyahs so that it becomes easier for them. Whereas at the very bottom of the table, S8UL starting to be a bit of a disappointment even in week 2.
Yeah, S8UL had a decent-ish enough beginning in week 1, but it doesn't put them anywhere near the top, and now they don't seem to be recovering quickly enough. I do believe that a part of the reason why they are not recovering quickly is because people like Gopu are also making things very difficult for them. 4 eliminations for this young lad, equipped with Oscar, Ford, Kiva, and his pet favorite Abrin. He uses the shotgun so well, and who can forget that triple elimination onto Car 98 when he basically secured the entire area for his team.
Absolutely. Now, losing Nikita, I was expecting him to, you know, go with an SMG.
Exactly.
But ultimately, using a shotgun, I don't know how things worked out for him. Probably the secondary gun was a shotgun, just in case the shots don't connect, then he'll rely on a P90 or something. But no, nevertheless, he has done the deed for the team. And with him, we see that Flash also with the Tatsuya is going to go with Nikita. Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah, there's like 2 players in this team. Both the rushers have picked up Nikita, and they've all picked up the same passive abilities. The only difference is their active, which is also basically serving the same purpose of the movement with the Oscar dashes and the Tatsuya dashes. But no other surprises over here from the side of Team Tycoons. Pretty standard set of abilities that they've used over here. That being said, though, I would love to draw your attention towards Amin, because as the dedicated grenadier of the team, he's done 2,000 damage. That is some amazing backup. With 5 assists, he was able to set up players like Gopu and Hitman for success.
Oh yes, he was like the punching bag for the team for sure. And so does the side of Hitman, who did, you know, kind of give that backup when required. But let's not forget that 1,600 damage has also dealt a lot of knocks as well. But for now, the game summary, Total damage 45,000, not hitting that 50,000 is a bit of a shocker. But the total glue walls destroyed. Look at that, 218 in the map of Solara. I think this is the highest I've seen so far.
218 glue walls destroyed. That could very well be one of the highest numbers that we've seen.
In this
Solara,
map.
definitely. Yeah, in this map, definitely. I mean, it rivals the stats of Nexterra and Bermuda. But total damage is only 45,000. And that way, it's a pretty tame game because a lot of these teams were able to find eliminations early on. And unlike the Kalahari game where so many players were alive towards the second last circle, over here we saw a pretty nice and gradual elimination of teams so that the last circle wasn't that cramped as it was in Kalahari.
Yeah. I mean, I also can see a bit of a, a difference in strategy because where teams like Godlike, where teams like Total Gaming are trying to prioritize the center of the circle and losing out the Booyah, we have those other teams who are holding the corners of the circle, trying to find a hard cover in the later stages of the smaller circle. And I believe that has become the new success story. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be breaking down more about the fights in Solara and also speak about the upcoming maps. See you guys on the other side. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are watching TEZ FFMIC India Cup 2025 as Group C are going to be ending their matches. They've got a couple of matches left, and due to which they're trying to, push themselves way too hard, and due to which we are able to see that few teams are kind of crumbling under pressure, and so does the teams at the very top of the table. Total Gaming and Godlike not performing that well is a bit concerning, Crips. What do you feel like? Do you think that they're taking things lightly and they're going to come back harder tomorrow? Yeah, so, I do understand what you're trying to say, but for now, what I'm going to do is just wait for the next few games to reveal itself, because I somewhere feel that there are some teams to watch out for, because that's not been the case so far. All those teams who are the watch out teams in specific maps are not able to perform that well. But looking at the stats, sometimes the number speaks for itself. We have the side of Revenant X-Park with 16,318 damage. They've been the leaders for this game, for the map of Bermuda, and they've got 44 points in total. Closely following up are the two default teams, which every single caster is going to place their bets on. That is going to be Godlike Esports with 39 with no booyah whatsoever, whereas you've got Total Gaming with 37 with 1 booyah. So does booyah actually matter over here with so much eliminations and damages almost reaching up to be equal and close to 16,000 in total? I don't think so. That's going to be the case, Crips. But for now, the preferred drop location, this is going to make things interesting. Mars, Electric, Factory and Pochinok is going to be the three places where no teams are visible right now. Hangar and Rimnam Village is also going to be abandoned. But a big chunk of Godlike, SA2L, Team Tycoons and Aerobots towards the peak region. What do you feel? Can you expect some kind of a drop clash there?
Oh, 100%. I believe some of these teams will even leave the area of peak and then, go towards Keratin or maybe towards Cape Town in order to get loot. In fact, I might even expect teams like Godlike to go towards Kotatua and Pochinok and then take that zip line up towards peak to fight them once they have all their weapons, once they have decent enough loot, so they can then go and control peak. I do believe that SA2L and Team Tycoons will not abandon this place. These guys are way too hard stuck on peak to ever give up that area, to ever relinquish it. At that point, it's a bit of an ego battle as well, because if you control peak, you know that you will be able to control the most prominent rotation.
Absolutely. Now, one other thing which I'm able to see in this game is that Katulitseva has been one of the primary places for teams to hold on to, because that is somewhere close to the center of the circle, but still can evade a lot of fight which can take place in the peak. So let's see towards that Katulitseva region, can the final circle form in and create a bit of a different kind of a ruckus. But for now, we're going to look at the predictions for this game, and I'm sure again we might be thinking alike. Yes, with one name, it's going to be the same. That's going to be Godlike, because we have been seeing the consistency in the map of Bermuda. I'm going to go with Total Gaming as well as SA2L, because they are the fan favorites and they need to perform to live up to their expectations.
Yep. And I do believe in all of your picks as well. I know that SA2L, Total Gaming are also pretty damn good on this map. Same with Revenant X-Park. The only off pick that I have gone for over here is Genesis Esports. And I picked them in Bermuda only because I know that their rotations in and around the Pochinok, Kotatua, Keratin and the peak area are amazing. Although if the circle doesn't go towards this region, towards the general eastern side of the map, if it's somewhere towards Hangar or Observatory, Genesis might just lose all their advantage. So let's see what happens as we drop into Bermuda, ladies and gentlemen. It is gonna be a banger of a game, oldest map in the entire game. So all these teams, they will most likely be able to take fights early on and even survive, get their players back up online through vending machines and recall towers, and then continue going on for those high elimination pointer games. Ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into Bermuda. We are about to take off over the skies of this beautiful tropical island. The penultimate game of the day, penultimate game for the teams of Group C. And their destinies will be determined in just these two games coming up.
Absolutely. Now, this is going to be game number 5. We're going to be left out with just one more game. So the path of redemption is now going to be finalized, as those teams who can play really well in this game will look forward for consistency, where the teams who do not perform well from the Group C will look forward to end the day on a very good note. But the flight path, yet again, being way to default for all these teams out there. But I can see a bit of a drop clash, which is going to be possible between the side of Team Tycoons and as well as Godlike. But somewhere far away, Aerobots, even they've got a bit of a kerfuffle with the side of SHUL, and it seems like they're on the receiving end of things, as 2 eliminations is already being confirmed by the side of SHUL.
And SHUL really want to make up for their losses in the previous game, easily getting the confirmations onto Aerobots. They're making quick work of them. And while we expected SHUL to never abandon Peak, it is quite surprising to see them down here in Pochinok. I really thought that Team Tycoons and Godlike will continue contesting the heights of Peak, but while Team Tycoons remain somewhere near the double balcony house of Pochinok, towards the double balcony house of Peak, Godlike actually have moved in over there, and they are actually hard contesting Peak as well. So that is a rather surprising turn of events. And yeah, I think even though SHUL did not want to abandon Peak, this move actually kind of helps them out. 3 eliminations early on, and it's nicely spread out across Arsh, Licky, Marvel. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Good enough to bring up momentum for them. Whereas Godlike on the other side are not having such a great time. Even though Yogi did get one confirmation on that trade game, they need to be careful with what they're going to do next, because that Peak region slowly is going to be, targeted by 2 teams. One is Team Tycoons, who are not far away from the Peak region. Yes, Total Gaming is also trying to come into this vicinity as they enter in the mini-map. They were expecting to third party the situation. Genesis on the other side. Now they were having a fight with that of Autobots, and Mac, he's got to be the first one to get taken down because of that high ground. Behind the glue wall is still waiting for one of his teammates to come in and revive him, but that's not going to be the case, as Firefist is just going to fall back because he knows that he's going to be expecting some firepower right in front of him anytime soon.
Yeah, but then take a look at the members of Genesis. These guys are way more bunched up together as compared to their opponents. So they should have a much easier time trading each other down in case Aerobots decide to continue staying here. I'm sorry, Autobots decide to continue staying here. That being said though, Firefist is looking for an opportunity to escape.
Ooh.
I don't think he'll be given one. The grenades landing just left of him. And finally, he will be put down by Ayush. So that's another confirmation for Genesis Esports as they take control of Hangar, but now they're starting to realize that there's a third party in this mix, and it's Car98 who are taking pot shots. Zoe down, Soul from Car98 tries to get another one, but Broadcott will get Junior instead. And Car98 Army are doing really well for themselves. Broadcott versus Ayush, dedicated shotgun versus shotgun battle, but he gets overwhelmed with the numbers. The trade game for Car98 is just too good, and Genesis Esports are the first team to fall. Oh boy, did I just curse them? I mean,
no, I don't think so.
Specifically in Bermuda, knowing that they might not be able to perform if the circle is not towards Peak, but my goodness, I didn't know I would be that accurate. Oh, unfortunate.
I mean, you were expecting something like this, I believe, because Genesis, sometimes they do overcommit into a fight. They do not know what is a good fight and a bad fight, and then end up being on the wrong notion of, being successful in a fight. Yes, they're going to be pounced upon. There was one single player. He was kind of having a dual mind, whether to go into the nearest vending machine or to take that fight. Yet again, goes in for a wrong decision and is going to get pounced upon. I did see Jaunty Gaming also wanting to be involved in that fight towards that Hangar region, but for some reason they go in for a clever move of evading from that fight, because Car98 were looking like they were dominating and there was no any kind of trade game coming in over there.
Yeah, and that was a problem initially for Autobots, because you saw that these guys, Genesis players, were playing really clutched up together, and that's why they were able to win those 3 eliminations against Autobots. But then the same concept, they couldn't use it when Car98 attacked them, and it all just fell apart. So it really kind of tells you how battle ready you are. I can't even blame them, because it's Car98 who forced that battle, even though Genesis did not really want to fight over there. Jaunty Gaming though, these guys will have a completely different battle to fight as they are trying to rotate away from this spot. And while Jaunty Gaming is just starting to move out of the hangar and they're still in between that, the place between observatory and hangar, they are getting looked at by many other teams. Nightmare Esports just took stock of them. SHUL might have an idea about their movements, but that being said, K98 and Nightmare Esports, the teams who I thought might be able to take pot shots at Jaunty Gaming, will now have to deal with each other first. This hangar area is getting a lot more action than I thought it would.
Absolutely agreed on that. But again, this is for the first time ever in the map of Bermuda or any other map for that matter. I'm seeing Godlike not having the center of the circle. They're playing at the corners towards the observatory region for now. And probably they want to stick to the corners to make sure that they take advantage of that final circle. And, once it takes the shift, that is where teams are going to enjoy that corner. But for now, we see that K98 are intrigued to take another fight altogether against side of NMR. Info has already been passed down that Soul is going to be the first point of contact as only 2 players are present in this vicinity. Could be a bit of a problem, but Botcott gets shot at from a distance by Vincent. The Chrono Shield is also going to be used. I think K98 is now trying to make a mistake. They're being pressured from 2 different directions, and probably this could be the beginning of the end in case they do not fall back from this fight.
Exactly, but this is such good information for Nightmare because they were just huddled up inside that hangar. They did not actually want to take that fight themselves, but now they know that Jaunty Gaming is on the outskirts. K98 will be forced to come in from the northern entrance, and there's only one place that they need to really take care of. The nades force the Nightmare members out of this hiding hole outside this compound where they were vulnerable from Jaunty Gaming, but they've now come towards this staircase area where there's very little angles available on them. Botcott going up close personal against Roadshark, uses the Oscar dash to completely destroy his blue walls and then pump his guts full of lead. Botcott gets the elimination onto Roadshark, and he does it quickly enough before Jaunty Gaming can steal anything away from them.
Oh, forget about Jaunty Gaming. We see SHUL wanted to be a part of this fight, but eventually they're going to be restricted for now. Total Gaming versus the side of Godlike happening at a distance. And guess what? Total Gaming is now going to eliminate the complete squad of Godlike from this game. The least expected fight, which happened at the very corner of that observatory region, which I was speaking about. But for now, SHUL, they understand that K98 are looking forward for some fights, and they're going to be ready to give them some as Sid goes in for an off angle, and that has been completely read out here. Soul using that launcher is now just going to be walking into the crosshairs of Harsh with that AC-80 doing so much of damage, but yet not reaping benefits out of it. Now we'll have to see how K98 are going to retaliate for this fight.
K98 army, they currently enjoy that second spot at 274 points. Meanwhile, NG Pros blitzkrieging ahead, almost a whole 100 points, almost a century ahead of every other team, have reached 370 points. Now that is ridiculous. They might just get to 400 by the end of this day. And now I'm starting to get worried about the cutoff, because I was under the assumption that if you want to make it to the top 8, you need like 270-ish points. We're seeing teams breach that number already, so that cutoff might just be higher than we expect. But now coming back to this game, the hangar area, which was at one point getting a little too populated, is starting to thin out as teams start losing their individual members. Total Gaming have lost Shanky, and the vending machine is not in their control. SHUL have control over the recall tower and the vending machine, so Total Gaming can't res him back anytime soon. And if SHUL try to make any sudden moves, then K98 will keep them in check. And if that's not enough, then Jaunty Gaming from across the meandering road will also have lines of sight on them. The only team who's present but not really present is Aerobots, and they're just chilling on the outskirts near the beaches. But it seems like Total Gaming want to force this issue. This could be a little bit of an overcommitment if they're not careful. Delete using that footwork so well, dodging the grenades, but Aztec can't really dodge the bullets. Mafia connects that shot onto Marvel, and both these teams are losing members left, right, and center. Mafia takes off to the skies towards the edge of the circle, leaving his poor teammate alone to fend for himself. Delete somewhat safe, knowing that SATUL can't really harm him because Kar98 control that gap between them, will just revel in the fact that he gets to live another day.
Not only that, he's got a vending machine close by, but has he got enough tokens? It seems like that's not going to be the case, whereas K98 Harsh is going to be finding him. But Mafia, after he ran away from that position, or Delete rather, after running away from that position, has revived one of his teammates. As Mafia comes back into the hangar region, Non-Stop Gaming, this is one of those teams who have not been in this fight, who have not been in this fray, far away near that observatory region, is trying to do his best, are trying to do their best to evade from fights, but still hold that corner of the circle where the final moments can occur. But Kar98, I love their controlled aggression. At times when I feel they're overcommitting, they suddenly realize all they're doing is, watching out for the right corner. Aztec gets tagged off in midair, but all thanks to that position which they're holding right now, easily Total Gaming can go in for a revival.
Yeah, luckily Total Gaming can go in for a revival. That vending machine was under the control of SATUL at one point. But as they try to go in for that revival, will they get pushed by SATUL?
No, he's already dead.
It seems like they're already in a little bit of trouble. But now Kar98 gets surprised. Oh my god, that's a double elimination right there. Aerobot struck out of nowhere. And instantly Kar98 are down to just Soul and BotGod. BotGod moves in for the res. He might just be able to get his teammate back up on his feet. Yep, he's done that. But really, Kar98 thought that they were safe over here. They thought their backlines were clear. And Aerobots now come in to surprise them. And this is a rather isolated fight. Even Jaunty Gaming don't have lines of sight on this. And it's not like they're gonna leave their compound and go out of their way to third party over here. So Aerobots can decide to push in Kar98, but instead, all they've done is repel Kar98 away to the next building, which is just in front of them. And they've secured this little garage for themselves. Inch by inch, they put their foot into the circle. And look at Kar98 just raining down upon Total Gaming and SATUL. They are relentless. They don't care who's in front of them. They don't care if it's a member of Total Gaming or SATUL. If they move, they will get shot. And in the process of living up to that philosophy, they delete Total Gaming out of this game.
Kar98, where I thought they might have a divided attention towards the side of Aerobots, they were not bothered about the backstab as they were persistent in picking up those eliminations. BotGod and Soul, they've been rewarded with 4 each. And guess what? They know that they can defend this compound for themselves, as now they're concentrating to prioritize the center of the circle. Autobots at a distance also gets eliminated. Jaunty Gaming is looking more promising than any other team with the center of the circle in their hands. But for now, it's got to be Team Tycoons, who've got 5 eliminations. It's got to be sticking very close to the corners of the circle and trying to find themselves some really good hard cover as they make it into the circle. But guess what? Now Aerobots are going to have a bit of an issue because Kar98 have been clever enough to gatekeep them, moving inch by inch, making sure that the backs are against the wall.
Yep, backs are against the wall. They're trapped in between a rock and a hard place, and the only way to go through this is to barrage through this. Aerobots, like tides of the ocean, striking against the shore, which is Kar98. But the water overwhelms the shorelines, and Aerobots overwhelm Kar98. They take that compound for themselves, and they've secured a nice spot. Nightmare, on the other hand, are locking horns against Team Tycoons, the winners of the previous game. And both these teams need to somehow keep themselves ahead of the shrinking blue zone and get inside while simultaneously fighting each other. That's a very tricky affair to handle. It's a very thin line to walk because Anubhav is now taking shots. He's got a double elimination onto Nightmare, and Nightmare might just be able to win, but they are actually dealing so well with the falling members of Team Tycoons. Gopu, he tries to get the better of them but falls himself. It's only Amin who survives on behalf of Team Tycoons, but Aerobots end up getting eliminated.
Jaunty Gaming showing some aggressive stance out here. Eliminate the complete squad, but Nightmare on the other side. One small mistake where the glue wall was put up right in front of his path where he was trying to use that hard cover. I think is now going to regret that decision for a long time. Lesson learned the hard way. But for now, Non-Stop Gaming, they know the location of Jaunty Gaming and they're trying to pressurize them. all foemen standing are now trying to take this topography under their control. In the minimap, we're able to see this is the only team who have got control of the situation. One man goes ahead to make sure that he has control of the situation. Team Tycoon's Amin is outside of the circle trying to heal himself for the longest time possible, but I don't think so. It's got to be easy. The chrono shield is got to be used. Now trying to make it through is got to be a double-edged sword, and eventually he gets taken down. Ginotra also down on his knees. Vincent and Jarvis trying to do their best, but Struggle yet again holds that prime position where he can backstab as Anubhav gets in closer, puts one player down, another player is just going to follow up, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, a booyah walks into the hands of the team, which is going to be looking more promising than any other team out there. NG Pros might just cross that 400 pointer, and if they have done this, I believe that they have got that golden ticket into the Clash Squad mode as well.
Might? Arka, I believe they 100% most definitely crossed that 400 point marker with this one. I mean, they were already sitting at somewhere around 390 plus. With this booyah, they're definitely going to cross that 400 point marker. The first team to not just win 2 booyahs today, but also the first team to cross 400 marker while nobody else is even close to 300. A whole century ahead of their competition. That is just mind-blowing to me. And this is deja vu. Like, we saw this exactly in the previous game as well, where NG Pros were moving towards Zabuya. They got inside the circle before anybody else. They made sure that they split up. At least one of their players is way ahead of the rest of his team, basically putting pressure onto the opponents who are still trying to make their way inside the zone, and everyone else just sets him up for success. NG Pros are doing so well, and they just use the same trick again and again, but it's so damn effective. It cannot be countered.
In NG Pros, you know, I love the change in approach. Previously, we have seen that NG Pros, they tend to stick to fights from the corners. They pick up frags after frags. They fight their way to the center of the circle. This time around, they fix one certain part of the map, or they go to the corner of one circle where they feel it's going to be closest to the final circles. They take a fight against no matter what team is out there. Recently, we saw them take a fight against the side of Total Gaming, push them away from that position. Then after which they have that controlled aggression activated. They just wait for an opportunity, and after which they have all foemen standing in the final circles and easily grab that booyah again away from all the other teams. So I do believe that NG Pros have now not only found peace within themselves, but also found aggression where it's required.
Yeah, and I want to see that aggression once again. Mr. Producer, hit that replay button. I want to see that final battle because it was just so damn good. And you can see that NG Pros are already gonna win by the way they move. See how far ahead Struggle is. And his teammates, they just send Anubhav in using the launch pad. He just barges into that entire shack with his Strogon shotgun and mows down anybody. Meanwhile, Struggle and Manu are providing fire from afar. Cropsy also just there for moral support. Usually he's the top fragger of the team, but this time he did not even need to be activated. His teammates just handled all of it by themselves.
I'm 100% sure Corpse is going to be the highest damage dealer in this game because he was the first person to knock into those doors where Jonty were holding him. Then, he did the initial damage. But ultimately, 11 eliminations and 23 points. I think they're going to be a little bit shy of that 400 pointer. But Jonty Gaming on the other side, a good approach of maintaining that placement points and elimination points equal 9 points, a total of 18 points coming their way. Team Tycoons are also catching up. They're also building up that momentum, maintaining that consistency in the overall standing. I'm waiting to see now where they do stand.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good game for Team Tycoons as well. Got the Puya in the previous one. Now they've got a nice third place finish. They seem to be farming points really well. Jonty Gaming, much needed good game for them, even though they're not in danger all that much. But today, the first few games were low-key lackluster for them. So nice recovery from them too. Anubhav ends up becoming the MVP of this particular game. That Oscar dash that he used towards the end was phenomenal. He did not even need to burst through the glue walls. All he needed was the positioning, and he just wanted to make sure that with him pressuring that little red shed, he keeps Jaunty Gaming trapped in there for good. And while they're all focusing on him, his teammates are spreading out, getting multiple angles, locking down all the avenues that opponents can take. So just a good mix of aggression from Anubhav while his teammates focus on the map control in that last circle. That's a winning recipe right there.
I mean, there's one passive skill where I'm starting to question myself. Is it really necessary for you to use Luna in this game? I do understand it's going to add your movement speed, and that is why Anubhav was using her. But previously, we did see a different kind of combination coming in from both Anubhav as well as Corpse. But this time around, we see that Shani is also being used out here. On the other side, Chrono with a combination of J-Beeps with Thiva being kind of like the primary objective for Struggle and Anubhav.
Yeah, so Struggle is basically the hard support guy now. He's using the Chrono and the Thiva to defensively get his teammates back up, while almost everybody else is using Ford, except for Manu, the dedicated sniper, because he's got, all his passives, the typical sniper abilities equipped. But it's a quite even amount of damage from everyone else except Cropsy. This is like I said, even though Cropsy is like one of the leading elimination players of this entire tournament, even though he's got some of the highest eliminations, this game, he didn't need to do much because everybody else was just handling the heat for him.
Cropsy with 500 damage and 2 elimination, he could be more clinical. He could never be more clinical. But for now, Glue Wall's destroyed. Again, the number dwindles down to 164. So does the total damage. Longest elimination, 133 meters. I wonder where that took place. But the game summary shows it was not such a chaotic map as in comparison to the others, but Bermuda was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty entertaining in terms of the positioning and the movement of all the teams. But you're right, it did not really get that chaotic. I mean, 39,351 damage is towards the lower end of things, especially for a map like Bermuda, where I expected it to be completely different. I expected teams to be constantly fighting, constantly going for the reses, so that would just really pump up the damage numbers. But I was pleasantly surprised by some nice tactical gameplay, especially towards the end circle, where that area between Pochinok and Hangar was contested really well by every team. And we got to see some brilliant tactics from NG Pros, as well as Jaunty Gaming. And even though Jaunty Gaming have won the Booyah already in Nexterra, they did pretty well in Bermuda as well. Now, we are moving towards that dreaded last map, towards Alpine, the wildcard map where anything can happen. And this could be the last game for the Group C teams. And they will have to make sure that they get inside at least the top 8, not just today, but build enough of a buffer that they stay in the top 8 when they don't play tomorrow.
Absolutely. Group C teams. We have Revenant X Park, Autobots, NG Pros, Team Tycoons, SA2L and Car 98, amongst which SA2L will be one of those teams who need to perform well, who need to attain that Booyah to make sure that they stay at least in the middle fray of the overall standing, because if they go to the very bottom, they might end up under a lot of pressure in the upcoming phases of this tournament. For now, when we look at the teams to watch out for, we have got Car 98, we have got Godlike, as well as that of Total Gaming, amongst which only one team, that is Car 98 from Group C.
Yup, Car 98 being the flag bearers of Group C are really gonna show people how Alpine is supposed to be played, because they are the most heavily favored team according to the stats so far. I mean, they've been doing pretty well for themselves all throughout the day. Pretty high-scoring games from them, but they've got 2 Booyahs on Alpine already. Can they make it 3 today? That would be really entertaining to watch. But Car 98 Army is gonna have to battle out quite hard, because if you take a look at their preferred drop spots, they are heavily contested by not just SA2L on Forest Red, but right across the river mouth, you've got Genesis and Aerobots as well.
Non-stop gaming. Will they do the impossible? Will they pick up another Booyah to make sure they cross the 400 pointer to hold the top spot? Now, this is one question which keeps lingering in my mind. Yes, Forest Red region as well as the Rivermouth region is where we have seen that kind of an early skirmish always take place. But I've seen that lately railroads and docks have also been shared by 2-3 different teams. I'm hoping to see, teams spread around, not go in for an early skirmish. But I know that teams who are outside of Group C will now try to target teams of this group to make sure they get those early eliminations so that they can build pressure over them. But let's see whether that's going to be the case.
Yep, I really hope that we get to see a lot of pressure being built up from the moment we start landing, because I like games where all the teams are continuing to fight a little bit. If they lose a member or two, it's fine, they can always go for the revive again. But I would love to see them try to hunt for more elimination points while still maintaining their placements. But I do believe, I obviously have a clear favorite. Kar98 will have a massive advantage in this game, which is why I have chosen them to be one of the leading prediction contenders. But they're not the only ones. Oh, I see that we have a little bit of similarity over here with Kar98 and Godlike. Pretty safe picks. I would even say that my pick of Total Gaming is also quite safe. Nightmare, on the other hand, tell me about that. I mean, I did not put them in even in my top 5, let alone in my top 3. Why did you choose Nightmare?
The Wounded Lions. That's the only reason I just want to give them an element of doubt. They could be, one of those teams who try to play very, very defensive. If you see throughout the day, they've been trying to pick up fights. They're unable to convert those 4v4s. So probably the IGL might end up saying that why don't we just shift gears, make sure that we become completely defensive, try to place ourselves in the final circle with all foemen standing. Probably that is where we can pick up some eliminations as well, because Alpine, that urban warfare makes things so much more interesting for teams in that final moments of this game.
Yep. In the final moments of this game, all hell will break loose, and this could be the final moments for all the teams of Group C. This will be their last game. They will not be playing tomorrow, as we will be moving on to Groups A and B. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that one needs to be in the top 8 teams if they want to play in the Clash Squad mode, which will give them access to 20 lakh rupees out of that total 1 crore prize pool. So let's see if these teams can make one final mad dash towards the top 8 or not, as we hop into the last game of the day. Alpine is gonna be on your screens in just a couple moments. Put on your seatbelts, strap your bags securely, and we will be taking off over the skies of Alpine now.
The map of Alpine making things so much more interesting, all thanks to those fan favorite teams who need to perform out here. As I said, Group C will be playing their final game, so I'm going to read out the teams in Group C for you guys. Revenant X-Park, Ouroboros, NG Pros, Team Tycoons, SA2L and Kar98. We have chosen the 2 of the strongest in this team, in this lobby. But look at that, the first blood already being drawn even before a few teams will be able to land themselves in this map. And I believe that Forest Red region is going to live up to its name to see blood left, right and center.
Yep, you might as well just call this the Crimson Forest, because it's gonna be running red with all the blood of the people over here. 3 teams contesting each other. Team Tycoons, Kar98 Army, SA2L, some of the strongest names in a 3-way battle right off the get-go. That is ridiculously good. And if that's not enough, even Nightmare and Rare and X-Spark are present over here. They're just not taking shots just yet. X-Divine becomes one of the first players to fall, but luckily he is right next to a vending machine, so he can instantly get him back up. And I'm actually surprised he's got enough tokens for him this early on in the game. I mean, it's only been a minute since we started.
Absolutely. Now, the interesting part is, all the teams which are fighting out here, most of them are from Group C. And that means all of them are now intrigued. All of them are now looking forward for eliminations. They know that's the only way for them to get a big name. Gopu gets taken down, instantly gets revived. But the trade game goes in the favor of Team Tycoons as Marvel gets eliminated from this game. Revenant X-Park, they are having a sigh of relief with 2 eliminations, with all foemen standing slowly and steadily trying to execute an assault which SA2L might not be expecting. Team Tycoons, they're like, you know what, we are the third-party kings for now. As they rush in, Lewis gets taken down. Can he replicate another one? Likith also gets... Oh, I don't think so. That's got to be easy for them. But 3 eliminations already. Revenant X-Bar need to be careful because Team Tycoons are coming in and they're going to be raining havoc to pick up 2 eliminations. And Revenant X-Bar from a distance will look forward for revivals.
Yeah, but they will be forced to use their tokens very early on. All because Amin just decided to go berserk. 4 eliminations from him alone. He is leading by example. SHUL, on the other hand, finally cut their losses short and move up towards Fusion rather than going towards the river mouth or the Blue Whale area. They have actually split up over here. As you can see, X-Divine kinda isolated, is getting pummeled by all the players of Team Tycoons who are hot on his heels, and they're just in hot pursuit of him. Nah,
Divine.
Autobots, they might just come in to rescue him. Oh, but it's no use. Aerobots decided to hop into this spot as well. And they're not alone over here because Nightmare are already present. Team Tycoons, they came to this spot following the members of SHUL. So while Likhi and Marvel still survive, Arsh will be rezzed elsewhere. And they're splitting up across Blue Whale and Rivermouth right now. But in front of you, Nightmare Esports continue to pummel down the members of Aerobots. They're blocking off the vending machines, making sure that Aerobots have a tough time getting back in this game. And Aerobots still manage to get the res. Aleem rescues Hyper, calls him back down.
Oh, I'm waiting to see what's going to happen next. Because in the map feed, I can see there's another team who's going to be interested to come to the center of this chaos. And in case they come in over here with the kind of momentum they're carrying, we can expect them to pick up frags. In the name of Jaunty Gaming, not far away in the minimap, we're able to see that they've gotten closer. Aerobots coming in from two different angles, trying to take down a player. Yes, they're going to be successful with that. We'll be getting one player down. The second one follows up closely with two quick eliminations coming in. And a triple takedown already going in favor of Halim. Now, Jaunty Gaming, what kind of a, out of syllabus question are they going to be for the side of Aerobot? She gets taken down. Kunal rushes in. They know the location of Halim, but the vending machine is going to favor him to revive most of the teammates. Aleem,
Nice
after
little
getting
sacrifice
eliminated.
by Aleem. Yeah, I mean, he kind of just plugged his teammates in before he bit the dust, and Jaunty Gaming was there to eliminate him. But Aleem will also be called back down, so that's pretty good.
Absolutely. Jaunty Gaming, I just love the way they're taking time to third-party situations. NMR on the other side will be reviving most of their teammates back in this game, but Total Gaming on the other side, they realize now the pressure is against the other group, and now they've also started to kick in this game. Shanky and Delete, they're going to be working as a well-oiled machine, as two frags being taken from themselves, whereas the elimination feed seems like it's not going to have any kind of a rest anytime soon.
Yep, absolutely not. The rest is for the weary, and right now there is no time to rest because this is the last game for teams of Group C. Non-stop gaming. Really just living up to their name. Absolutely not stopping in terms of eliminations, but they get shot down. It's Nightmare Esports who've got eyes on them, and Radhitakur confirms the finish onto Cropsy. The top fragger of Non-stop Gamers is out. Of course, he's going to be super revived. He drops down to the ground with a P90. But now, Team Nightmare Esports have really just startled the sleeping lion. And I really hope they don't regret it because they're quite spread out. A couple of members of Nightmare Esports are about to face Car 98, while the others are in battle, locking horns against NG Pros. Team Tycoons, on the other hand, they also have nice control over the Blue Whale area.
Cribs, look at the number of eliminations already been raked up. The total is almost crossing 40 points, and this is for the first time we're able to see that no team has been eliminated from this map. What a map this is turning out to be. 40 points in total already been taken in those eliminations. But yes, for now, Non-Stop Gaming, they're being persistent. They can see two free eliminations standing out there. Kid gets taken down, and it's going to be the other player. He puts up a glue wall in time. He's going to be using the dash as well to escape from that. Korg in his hand. I don't think so. It's going to be easy as Manu is going to be using that SMG to sing the songs of death. We'll be getting that confirmation as well. Manu taking his time and eventually striking the slithering snake. We have to watch out for this man throughout this game.
Yeah, Manu has been on fire, man. I mean, he's not even the top fragger for his team, but he really wants to become one. Godlike, on the other hand, locking on against Autobots. They're trying to go around the southern side of this compound so they can get angles. And Mac falls, so does Mysterious. Mac is generally the person who stays alive for Autobots and continues to survive for his team, but Godlike are taking no prisoners today. They destroy Autobots, and Autobots become the first team to bow out.
Godlike, the aggressive Godlike. It seems like they're showing their true colors now. And I was waiting them to, actually start things off on a very high note. Yes, look at the circle. It's going to be painting a different story altogether. Jaunty Gaming yet again trying to prioritize the center of the circle. Godlike going to the corners, so does the side of Total Gaming. I know most of these teams will now try to prioritize, but NMR on the other side, 5 eliminations already. We were speaking about the controlled aggression, and guess what? One of the players is gonna stick very, very close to that vending machine. He knows that there might be some risk bearers in the team, and he wants to revive them as quickly as possible. Kit trying to come in from a different angle. He knows the location of the other player, but will he be able to take him down? No, he's going to be rather giving up that elimination. Now Arjun is going to be the next person trying to take this 1v1 battle. The man advantage is much more important right now. Soul coming out from different angles, trying to make sure that he keeps the opponents always at the tip of their feet. And Soul is going to be punished for that. She comes in closer. He wants to take advantage. He's also going to walk away as an elimination and nothing else. NMR with 8 eliminations. A vending machine close by now can recall more of their players back into this game.
Amazing way to hold on by Nightmare Esports. I mean, they had their backs against the wall. They did not just eliminate all the opponents around them, but they also managed to block one of their teammates back in for the revive. So that's amazing. Godlike. Poor Yogi finds himself trapped in a maze of blue walls, but Nancy comes in to help him out. And they find a mean together. The time turner won't really save him. Jumping out the window also isn't going to help all that much. Luckily for his team, Amin is not alone. He can always get West back up if Kar98 survives this one. Midman though will get completely pushed by Remnant X-Pac, and Team Tycoons are out.
Team Tycoons, this is one of those teams from Group C. They'll put up 286 points in total. And that is all they can do. But is it enough to make it into the top 8? But for now, Total Gaming, we can see that Delete, he's been leading this fight. He's been shot at, but he's been guiding his team well as he's the punching bag for now. Revenant X-Pac up in front of them, and they are looking forward for another fight. Whereas on the other side, Total Gaming, yes, this is the position they were wanting to hold, and they're going to be rewarded yet again. It's going to be Non-Stop Gaming trying to take this fight. This is the 3rd time I'm observing this, Cribs, that Non-Stop Gaming will come in, damage the side of Total Gaming, make sure they run away from the corner of the circle from where the final circle can happen.
Exactly, and Non-Stop Gaming want that edge of the circle for themselves. They want to clear their back lines. Aztec almost got that knock onto Struggle, but the time turner saves his life, and that is amazing. Aztec now forced to go around the other side where Struggle will have angles from his teammates, and Aztec can get shot at long range. The grenade launcher landing at his feet. Struggle using the footwork so well, gets behind that hay bale, and Shanky Aztec have found enough time to recompose themselves. The barrage of grenades just simply doesn't stop. Struggle is out of blue walls, has to reposition out in the open. He will fall, but it's a 2v1. And above and Manu now up against Aztec, and Aztec has been doing so well for his team. 1v1, Manu versus Aztec. Aztec was in the top 5 elimination leaders before this week, but can he prove his worth and finish off one of the strongest teams in the lobby? If NG Pros go down right now, they might not be able to get to that 400 point marker, and that would be great. You would be denying NG Pros greatness. Manu and Aztec both taking damage from the zone. Aztec just a few more inches inside the zone, so doesn't have to worry that much, but Manu might just have to consider cutting his losses short. I mean, it will be historic if he finds his team enough momentum to breach past that 400 marker. Not that they need it, but when was greatness ever required? It is something that you desire.
Manu, just pixels away from getting eliminated. 398 points, and he's going to be, breathing a little bit longer. Manu trying to get in closer from the other side. He's got to be stopped in from the side of NMR. He was waiting for them to get away from that fight. Shots are going to be connected, and Total Gaming is going to put an end to them before they could reach that 400 pointer. Have they done enough? We also have to wait to see how many position points or placement points they've got for themselves. But SA2L, they've got 9. They've got 9 in total so far. You were speaking about 1 point, and if that is true, they're going to be 1 point shy from reaching the 400 pointer.
Oh god, that hurts even more. Like, imagine getting Heart Circuit 399. I mean, hey, kudos, man. You're still at the top, but man, we were so close to greatness. Now let's see if Godlike can achieve that said greatness as Aleem gets completely butchered by Nancy. His teammates from behind are trying to land pot shots onto Nancy. He almost gets taken down. Takes a bullet to the dome, but survives just long enough. Great backup by Marco as well. Has been one of the more silent players of the team. Eco obviously a much more experienced contender, but Marco, he might have been struggling at the start of this day, but now he seems to have found his composure. So Godlike moving around the southern edges of
Shanti.
They will get a couple of nice rocks for themselves, but Revenant X-Pac also have the same strategy. Both these teams might just engage in a very long-range battle against each other, which none of them will full send on. Genesis get eliminated though, so that's one less team in the final circle.
Total Gaming, the last man standing, but still intrigued to pick up fights. We have got a 1v1v1 battle happening at one corner of the map, right? We see that Car98 Bot God is trying to push in against the side of Hashtag as Sheik is watching them very closely. Whereas on the other side, SATUL have got 14 elimination, 15, counting one more, 16 eliminations so far, with all 4 of them standing. We were expecting them to do well, but not this well. As for now, Arjun, before getting taken down, he wants to do the damage against the side of SATUL, has been successful, weakening them with just 3 men standing. Divine trying to do his best. All he has to do now is keep Hush live and kicking. As Yogi tries to push in, Godlike, they want to eliminate RNTX and get control of this complete topography before they make it inside the circle. Will they be successful as RNTX are trying to do their best? Nobita comes out of the trap turner. He's looking forward for some more fights. Wolverine trying to do his best. This fight is not looking like it's going in the favor of RNTX, but in one way or the other, Godlike is picking up frags, and also the trade game goes in fair. It's got to be Nobita. He's got to be picking up another frag altogether. Marco from a distance. All he's doing is watching his teammates get decimated. A 1v1 battle as K-God. Can he do something different over here? No, that's not going to be the case. And RNTX, they're going to reign supreme. All thanks to KD God at the final moment, picking up that last player. But RNTX, they're going to be wounded. They're going to be left alone with just one man standing.
And that one man has so much responsibility on his shoulders. Marco, the newcomer, almost proved his worth by clutching that 1v1, but it seems like RNTX are not giving up just yet. Neither is Shake, neither are Total Gaming. 1v1, v1, v3. SHUL have this in the bag. Unless the 3 remaining players from 3 different teams somehow manage to pluck SHUL apart, this should be their booyah. Aerobots eliminated. Sheik tries to go around the other side, but X-Divine finds the angle on him. And now they know where Aztec is. He's tucked underneath this well. And as they move towards Aztec, KD God might just be able to steal that finish away from SHUL. Aztec takes down KD God. Revenant X-Pac eliminated. 1v3 now. Can one of the best players of this lobby find it against SHUL? No, he cannot. And SHUL get that coveted booyah, the last one of the day.
We started off the game asking whether this team can showcase what they're truly worth, and it seems like they've shown to us that in case they choose to go aggressive in a lobby, they'll be able to pick up not just any eliminations, but a double-digit good game of eliminations. And I do believe that SATUL are going to be breathing a sigh of relief, because this was the last game they were playing in this league stage. And I believe that they're going to be happy with the way they've ended the day. But are they going to be happy with the placement they've got in the overall standing? We'll just have to wait and watch.
Yeah, I mean, SHUL were one of those teams which, even after getting a double booyah yesterday, even after performing really well, have been struggling to get inside the actual top 3. And because this could be the last game that they play, they will have a chance to be pushed down tomorrow by other teams who will most likely overtake them as they play their games. So I really hope that we find SHUL in the top 8. It wouldn't be fun to have Clash Squad matches without a team like SHUL in the mix.
I mean, I just want the big names to be in the top 8 just to see all of them clashing it out in the Clash Squad, because you know, we all know that these teams picked up by big orgs are actually capable of something phenomenal when it comes to a 4v4 battle, but just putting them in that class squad mode is just going to make things so much more interesting. But yes, for now, NG Pros, they did try to end the day on a very good note. This was their last game. Are they going to hit that 400 pointer is the big question, which is still to be answered. Revenant X Park, not such a great run. Autobots as well. They've also not done so well. But the final shots of the moment, the final shots of this game will show us how things have turned out for the side of SATUL.
Yeah, SATUL were basically handed this booyah on a platter. I mean, you saw that battle between Revenant X Park and Godlike. That was, in my opinion, the ultimate final battle, because it was KD God versus Marco. And while Marco has received his fair share of criticism for being one of the newer players in that team, he held his ground really well. And then all SATUL had to do is just pick off a couple of stragglers. It's also quite nice that in his final moments, Aztec was able to just get one more elimination before he finally bit the dust. So that's cool. But SATUL, by virtue of getting that booyah, will pad their stats even further. And hopefully this should be enough to make them a nice guaranteed contender inside the overall top 8. 30 points for them in this particular game with 18 eliminations. That is great. But then again, Total Gaming and Godlike also have 13 eliminations each, so this was a pretty damn good game from their side as well.
Absolutely. 3 big names on the top of the table where they were struggling throughout the day, ending things on a high note. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better ending. But yes, Revenant X Park, even they were trying to do their best. 9 eliminations, 1 shy from a double digit. Nightmare Esports as well, even they have done a decent job. So does the side of Car98 and Aerobots. All thanks to those early fights all of these teams got involved into. NG Pros yet again wanted to rewrite history, time in and again to make sure they eliminate or push away Total Gaming from a primary position. Will be restricted this time around. 114 points in total with 69 eliminations in a single day shows that this team was dominating the day and there was no doubts about it.
Absolutely no two opinions about them. 2 booyahs, 69 eliminations, 100 in a single day. Oh, that's some ridiculous number. Team Tycoons tied up with Total Gaming at 90 points each, and their stats are also very similar, just separated by 1 placement point and 1 elimination point. So both these teams are basically twinning over here. Revenant X Park and SATUL, they have a nice little upshift in their rankings as they overtake Car98 Army and take positions in the top 5 of this day.
Look at that point difference between John T Gaming and Team Tycoons. It's hardly 20 points, and less than 20 to be specific. That shows that each and every team were looking forward to either, be a little aggressive or concentrate on getting those booyahs, and ultimately we'll be able to see, a different outcome altogether. But for now, the MVP of this game is got to be SATUL Harsh, 3,000 damage with that ACAT, and Oscar going back to the default passive characters.
Yep, I really like the performance from Arsh. You also saw how he was able to handle the heat in up-close situations against Team Tycoons. He was just connecting those close-range shots with the ACAT as well. So that's really wonderful of him. Deserving of the MVP title, honestly. And while SATUL did struggle a little bit yesterday, Arsh was performing quite well even yesterday. And today he doubles down on it and makes himself the MVP of this game. 3,000 damage from him. But that being said, he did not do it all alone. I do believe that SATUL have a good amount of team contribution as well. I don't think we'll find anyone below 1,000 damage over here today.
One thing which I was wanting to speak from the get-go is Divine, trying to survive as a solo man at one point of time, was using Susie as one of the passive characters. What is your take on this? Did you expect Susie to be played in a meta like this?
Yes, but that doesn't mean that you can play it defensively. I think Susie was more of a bounty hunting character that way. So yeah, I guess they did not really use Suzy to its best ability, but hey, if it helps him survive, then why not? Like I said, not a single person under 1000 damage over here. The lowest is Marvel with 1700, and even then Marvel was the MVP for Team SHUL yesterday, so he's done his job. Licky as the Grenadier, 2600 damage. Same with X Divine, helping his team survive for quite a long time, using that Suzy to get extra tokens, and that probably is what helped him farm all the tokens necessary to get his teammates back up online. Overall, a very good game for SHUL, but a very good game overall for the entire tournament. I think this is the first time we've seen 64,000 damage, right? I don't remember there being such a massive amount of damage number in this entire game, which makes sense because we had like some 30-40 eliminations within the first circle itself. Even the longest elimination distance, 291? That can't be right. This has to be a landmine elimination. I can't imagine someone sniping someone that far away.
I mean, I'm still shocked with 64,000. I was expecting more glue walls to be destroyed with that much as the damage, but yes, it kind of makes sense since there was not much glue wall, destroyed. That's the reason why we saw so much of damage take place. 104 eliminations in total also is a very big number, but ladies and gentlemen, the overall standing is gonna reveal to us whether one team has actually crossed the 400 marker and how many of these teams will be holding the top 8 spot. NG Pros is gonna be shy from 2 points with 398. I don't think so. They need to be disappointed for not reaching the 400 pointer because they have done a decent job. Following up closer is going to be Car98 with 293 points. 100 points, 105 points shy from that of NG Pros.
100 points difference between the number 1 and the number 2 team. That kind of tells you exactly how devastating NG Pros is. And if this is the level of gameplay they continue to show throughout the rest of the league stage, I think they're basically a guaranteed contender in the finals. In the grand finals, they might just be the first team to even activate the champion rush condition. And then who knows what's going to happen. But while they are miles ahead of their competition, Car98 Army, Revenant Xbox, Total Gaming extremely close to each other, separated by just a couple of points. Team Tycoons then at 5th spot, 286. And up until now, every team has more than 175 eliminations except for Car98 Army. They are here on the basis of their placement points. But after that, take a look at the difference between SHUL and Reckoning Esports. A massive 41-point difference.
Slowly when I'm doing the math, I feel that Total Gaming will now go back to their drawing boards and they're going to, jot down points to how to overtake NG Pros to be on the top of the table because they're very close to 300, right? And with just an added 100 points, they'll be able to pick up so many points.
Yeah, they should be able to pick up quite a lot of points that way. But then again, there's not too many chances remaining. I am still kind of mad that we did not get to see that 400 marker, but that's completely okay because NG Pros have nothing left to prove. They probably will be cemented on top even tomorrow when they're not even playing. And that is going to bring us to the end of Group C games. Teams like SHUL, Car98 Army will be cementing their positions over here with these given points. Same with Team Tycoons. They will not be playing tomorrow. So that kind of settles it for these teams. Although I do feel sad for Autobots Esports because they are currently at the 10th spot. And since this is their last game, it basically guarantees that they will not be playing in the Clash Squad mode. So that is a little bit of sad news.
Absolutely. There are several teams who will still look forward to make sure they have a very good footing in the top, like Reckoning, Godlike. I don't have doubts that Godlike will not make it through. But one thing which I'm kind of disappointed to see is how team like Team Insane, NG Silver Eagles and Team Hind are going to make a comeback out here. Especially Team Hind and Silver Eagles. Not even reaching a 100-pointer where we'll have to see them achieve almost 200 points in a single day, which is kind of impossible for them to do so.
It is. It's pretty much impossible. Like, you already know what the cutoff is like. All the other teams who have, finished playing today, they have scored approximately 240 to 250 something points. So that can be the cutoff, and like getting like 100 points in a day is still possible if you play at the caliber of NG Pros, but getting 200 points, simply not possible. So I don't think that NG Silver Eagle and Team Hind will be able to make it into the Clash Squad mode. I think at this point they need to start thinking about the long run, start planning about week 3, so that they can at least get into the grand finals, if not the Clash Squad mode.
Absolutely. Now, one more thing is that I just realized that Godlike in one of the days had 3 back-to-back booyahs, and they were almost getting almost 150 points in a single day. So probably those teams in the bottom will look forward to replicate what Godlike have done so far. But I know that you need to have a caliber and consistency which is next to impossible for any of these teams to attain, because the competition is just got so much better out here. With this, ladies and gentlemen, it's good for us to say that tomorrow is going to be the final day of these league stages, making sure that we're going to be seeing the top 8 teams, the promising 8 who's going to get that golden ticket into the Clash Squad. And not only that, we also will be looking at teams who'll have to have a wake-up call, because stepping in from here on, after tomorrow, they'll be trying to grab themselves the golden ticket into the grand finals as well.
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, only 12 teams can make it to the grand final. Only 8 teams can make it to the Clash Squad mode. Out of the massive prize pool of 1 crore rupees, 20 lakhs is dedicated toward that Clash Squad mode. So that is just extra money that you cannot ignore, and the teams really would want to get into that top 8 so that they can access that money as well. And of course, the glory that comes with it. Who can deny all of that? And some of these teams have run out of their chances to get into the top 8. Some of them will still have it tomorrow. Groups A and B, ladies and gentlemen, they are going to be playing tomorrow, and we will determine who will be our top 8 teams. So make sure that you tune into the stream tomorrow as well, at the same time in the same place, and we will see you next time.
Flashback, what you got, man? Anything crack that. In and out of go low when a new man to the boys got only when he crack that. Man, I don't act like heads off, yeah, all of that one pack. I could be anywhere, feeling alright. To the game on the head is so mad at.